Chapter 940. In the basilica, Fong Ping and the cat had been messing around for a while. He was almost killed by the cat. It was fun to stroke the cat, but it was not fun if the cat was stronger than you and could poke you to death. After agreeing to pay, the cat finally stopped messing around. My image is ruined again. Fong Ping looked at the cat, counting how much cat food he wanted to buy with his claws, and sighed helplessly. Could these powerhouses leave a good impression on him? The first time he saw this cat, he was almost scared to death. In the end, why was she so silly and cute now? Old Zhang, warlord, when he first met these people, they were all tall and mighty, full of powerhouses. But when he became familiar with them, they were all more unreliable. Their dark history piled on top of each other. After casually ravaging the cat's big head, Fong Ping said with a slightly serious expression, "Big cat, I'm counting on you this time. I know you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. You must have some ability to survive from ancient times until now. Old Zhang is the soul of us neo-martial artists. If we are really in danger, please help us, brother cat." The cat muttered. After muttering for a while, it said weakly, "In the past, it was others who helped me fight. Now I have to help others fight. I'm so annoying." After saying that, the cat thought for a while and said, "Then I'm back. Liar, you have to prepare a lot of drinks, food, delicious food for me." "Okay." Fong Ping nodded. If the cat and the others were back, it would probably be a time of great change. He would at least be in the impasse, right? When that time came, he would kill a few venerable demon plants and drink their life essence like water. The cat said no more and was about to fly away. Fong Ping saw it and said hurriedly, "Don't bring Fong Yuan this time." He almost forgot. If this cat ran away with Fong Yuan like last time, he would be dumbfounded. A group of true kings and emperor-level martial artists bringing a middle-ranked martial artist along was not going to die like this. I can't bring it." The cat was a little surprised. Fong Ping's expression was dark. "So you were really going to bring it along to brush your fur? Did you think it was a field trip?" After sending the cat away, Fong Ping studied the sky screen again. This thing was good and would be useful. Soon, Fong Ping took out his phone and made a call. As soon as the call went through, Fong Ping asked quickly, "Where's the minister?" Old Zhang was not in the office. No one knew where he had gone, and his phone could not be reached. "The minister has gone out." The martial artist from the Ministry of Education who answered the phone seemed to be hesitant and then said in a low voice, "Minister Fong, don't look for me for the next 2 days. Minister seems to be touring with Minister Xia. Ahem, don't say that I said it." "What?" Fong Ping's expression was blank. Then he could not help but burst out laughing. "Minister Xia? Minister Xia Yifan?" "Yes. Is that the one who sent me flowers but got rejected?" Cough, cough. Fong Ping could not help but laugh. He continued gossiping. "Did the director really have an affair with Director Xie?" "That, Minister Fong, I didn't say that. If anyone hears this, I'll be beaten to death." The staff on the other side was a little scared. He looked around and comforted himself that the department head wouldn't eavesdrop. He didn't have the energy to do so now. Fong Ping could not stop laughing. As he laughed, he asked helplessly, "Did he really go sightseeing?" "Probably. Minister Fong, if you have something to say, just say it. I want to ask about the situation of Grandmaster Kong and the rest." Fong Ping stopped gossiping. He became serious and said quickly, "I sent some treasures over previously. Has Grandmaster Kong recovered?" Currently, Kong Lingyuan, Nan Yunping, Wang Qinghai, and Zheng Tao had not recovered from their injuries. Old Zhang and the rest had taken them away. These days, not only was Fong Ping searching for treasures everywhere, but the few paragons were also searching. Upon hearing Fong Ping's question, the staff hurriedly said, "The department head has given instructions." Now, the department head has gathered all the resources to save Grandmaster Kong. He'll try his best to let Grandmaster Kong recover so that he can participate in the following matters. I'm afraid the others can't. The department head said that he will send them to Magic City tomorrow and settle them in heaven. Their injuries have been stabilized. The department head said that after you get some treasures, you can go and save them. Fong Ping said softly, "Why didn't he send them himself?" "This. I'm not sure about that." "Understood." Fong Ping responded. After thinking for a while, he said, "I gave the department head 3 emperor-level powerhouses the last time." "How did he arrange it?" "This. I'm not too sure either." The other party was helpless. Although he was also old Zhang's direct descendant, he was not qualified to be involved in these things. Naturally, he did not know. Fong Ping frowned slightly. Fong Ping had given the emperor-level powerhouses Daos to old Zhang. Fong Ping did not know how to distribute these things. He gave them to old Zhang because he thought that he could distribute them more reasonably. However, until now, he had not heard of anyone using them. What was old Zhang doing? All right then. When the department head comes back, remember to tell him that old cat has agreed. Ask the department head to stop talking about old cat. The staff clearly did not know the situation, but he still quickly agreed. After hanging up the phone, Fong Ping exhaled softly. Avoiding me? What's going on? Is he really prepared to die? Fong Ping shook his head helplessly. Forget it. Let this old man be. Looking at his own data again, Fong Ping's eyes were no longer dim. They lit up quickly. Wealth? 2. 5 billion points vitality. 165,400 calories. 165,400 calories. Mentality. 9,699 hertz. 9,699 hertz. Destructive force. 75 yuan, 75 yuan. Storage space. 10,000 cubic meters plus. Energy shield. 1 point/minute plus. Aura simulation. 10 point/minute plus. Origin detailed analysis. 100 million points/time. More than 160,000 calories vitality. It's comparable to a normal rank 9's 300,000 calories. But if that's the case, destructive force seems to be gradually being eliminated. At this moment, Fong Ping somewhat understood why the absolute peak did not use destructive force in combat. During the rank 8 and 9 period, destructive force had an advantage. 1 yuan was comparable to 5,000 calories vitality. But gradually, when the vitality changed qualitatively, it seemed to be returning to its initial state. Power of blood qi, power of heaven and earth, power of destruction, power of blood qi, Fong Ping mumbled. His strength had gone through many changes. In the end, it returned to its original state. This was something he did not expect when he was weak. 75 yuan of destructive force was comparable to 375,000 calories vitality. 165,000 calories vitality. Fong Ping's qualitative change had not been completed yet. It was still about 8 times, which was about 300,000 calories. The gap between both parties was getting smaller and smaller. If Fong Ping did not undergo qualitative change, the gap would be huge. But now the gap was getting smaller. After a qualitative change in the impasse state, the destructive force should be leveled out. That's why the impasse powerhouses only use it for healing and body honing. Fong Ping was deep in thought. Was this considered the uniqueness of strength? Commander Li's combat techniques are somewhat incompatible with my strength. Using his combat techniques to reorganize my vitality, the outburst isn't too strong. It's a pity that I'm short of time now. Otherwise, I should control my strength to a greater extent and find a combat technique that suits me. It was too difficult to find a combat technique that suited him the best. There were too many ways to reorganize. This was a huge hassle. Old Zhang gave him 800,000 types last time. Fong Ping did not even look at them. He really did not have time. On the other hand, Li Jian's combat techniques were still considered for Fong Ping's sake. He only explained the way Fang Ping reorganized his strength and did not touch too much on other things. Maximum outburst can reach 375 calories and above. No, the void-piercing swordsmanship technique has more or less increased it. In addition to my god-slaying saber, even though I'm not familiar with it, the increase is still 5%. Maximum outburst is close to 400 calories vitality, but my strength control is only about 65%. 265 calories outburst is my limit. Fang Ping calculated in his heart. His strongest outburst was probably at this level. People like Chang Shanqi and Wang Hanyue, their limits were around 300,000. Their strength control was around 90%, which was about the same as his. In terms of outburst, he had already caught up with these people. However, there were many other factors in a battle between martial artists. Fang Ping grinned and chuckled. My physique is strong. My defense is way better than yours. If that's the case, I really have the same combat strength as them now. If Monster Dragon isn't dead, I'm confident I can kill it without Devil Swordsman's help if I meet him again. Fang Ping licked his lips. The Three Realms ranking list did not change his ranking. He was not as eye-catching as Old Man Li. Obviously, the other party was not omnipotent. However, if the ranking was changed, Fang Ping felt that he could replace Old Man Li's previous ranking. The ones who are worthy of my attention are the ones in the top 10. Jiang Kuei used to be ranked 11th. Now he's ranked 12th. If he fights with me, it's hard to say who will win. At that moment, Fang Ping felt a little more confident. He was not afraid of anyone when he entered the battlefield of kings, including Qi Huanyu. He was not Qi Huanyu's opponent, but it would not be easy for the other party to kill him. I wonder if Alliance leader Zhao will go this time. The Heavenly Plant's royal court might not give him a chance to enter this time. His performance last time was too obvious. I'm afraid it's going to be difficult this time. If the Heavenly Plant's royal court was not stupid, they would probably not let him enter. However, there was the unpredictable Li Zhu there. It was hard to say. Li Zhu is really good at keeping his cool. He actually left Li Yi here. Could it be that Li Yi is really not his son? Fang Ping sneered in his heart. Li Yi was probably doubting himself now, right? The sealed Heavenly Combat Palace's palace doors opened slowly. Fang Ping, who had not come out for many days, walked out of the palace. He took a look at the glaring sun and lamented, spring has returned. It's a good sign. All living things are revived. It's time to kill. Outside the palace, Qin Yunqi, who had come to pick him up, snickered when she heard that. She said, flatteringly, the antithesis is neat. Great literary talent. Fang Ping rolled his eyes. Were those words not against his heart? Don't say things against your heart. Fang Ping walked down the stairs and said with a smile, Heavenly Division. Summon Wu Chuan, Wu Quishan, Fan Haiping, Fang Yu, Yu Peiwen, Linlong Wang Yu, Li Deong, Xin Mingwei from the North House of Guardians, Chen Haodong from the East House of Guardians, Zhong Qinghuan from the Detective Department, gather at the Heavenly Division. Fang Ping's voice was loud. When the Heavenly Division people heard the names he reported, they were all excited. Excited for no reason. This was an even bigger summon than the last Magic City battle. They were all top-notch rank 9 powerhouses, including some powerhouses who had been guarding the catacombs for many years. Fang Yu from Xishan, Yu Peiwen from Capital City, Fan Haiping, who is guarding Nanjiang now. These people were all true powerhouses. They had been guarding the catacombs for decades and had fought countless battles. They were the first in every battle. Last time, although Zhang Tao had conscripted a large number of powerhouses, some people were not conscripted to prevent the catacombs from falling. And now they were all here. Fang Ping continued. From the Heavenly Division, Tian Mu, Li Changsheng, Bei Ganyan, and Qin Qi will all fight this time. Chen Yunqi asked hurriedly, What about the 2 rank 9 monsters? Fong Ping pondered for a moment. Before this, he did not consider these 2 monsters. After all, they were catacombs monsters. They might rebel. However, the cat wanted to leave. These monsters could not stay on Earth. Bring them along. Fong Ping made a decision quickly and continued. Let Polaris make their own arrangements. Sino Nation rank 9, including Polaris rank 9. There are about 40 of them. This was about half of Sino Nation's rank 9 combat strength. If they were to fall in the battlefield, the consequences would be unthinkable. However, in today's era, they were walking on a tightrope. How could it be safe and sound? If Sino Nation did not go this time, many things would go wrong. Moreover, Fong Ping also wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill a large number of powerhouses. This was a rare opportunity. Next time, there might not be such an opportunity. This time he could borrow strength from beyond Avalon and the bounded boundaries. The other party would not let him borrow strength forever. All right, anything else? Chan Yunqi responded and said, Rank 8 powerhouses. Many people have also applied to fight this time. How do you reply? Rank 8, Fong Ping said hesitantly. It's very dangerous. They all know it's dangerous. However, this time, most of them are peak rank 8. They want to advance this time and become rank 9 martial artists. Chan Yunqi seemed to have changed into a different person. She said seriously, I suggest that they join this kind of war involving hundreds of rank 9s. If they don't die and come back alive, they might become rank 9. Fong Ping glanced at her. After a while, he said, Your grandfather has applied? Yes. Chan Yunqi nodded and said, Grandfather said that since the South Capital Catacombs will be given to Xian Mingtian, then he is also free. This time, he wants to participate in the war. And Vice-Chancellor Liu. Vice-Chancellor Liu is only a rank 8 third refinement. Fong Ping frowned slightly. Chun Yunqi said, helplessly, Vice-Chancellor Liu said that these years he has been stagnant because he has too few battles. This time he must go no matter what. Sigh. Fong Ping sighed softly, then regained his composure and said, Sure. Rank 8 is limited to less than 20 people, including the 30 rank 9s recruited by the Sky Division. There are a total of 50 people. Ask them to gather here, quickly. I want to see them tomorrow. Okay. The other powerhouses are all here? Almost. They are all waiting for the Sky Division's arrangements. Ask them to gather here tomorrow too. Have there been any disturbances recently? A little, but it has calmed down. It didn't cause a big mess. They are also restraining themselves. Both of them conversed for a while. After Fong Ping had given his orders, Chin Yunqi chuckled and said, When are we leaving? Gather tomorrow. We will leave on the 1st of March. Tomorrow was the 28th, which was also the last day of the month. The day after tomorrow, Fong Ping was ready to leave. He had already received news that the powerhouses in the catacombs had begun to gather. Then I won't send you guys off the day after tomorrow. Chan Yunqi said slowly, I will leave the day after tomorrow too. She had said before that this time, when Fong Ping and the others went to the King battlefield, she would also go to the catacombs to train. Fong Ping was already prepared, but at this time he still could not help saying, There is no need to do this. There is. Chun Yunqi smiled brightly. Every new martial artist is fighting for their lives. We must seize every minute. I have been delayed for too long. If I don't go to the catacombs soon, I will almost forget how to fight. Fong Ping looked at her. After a moment, he nodded and said, Then I won't send you off. The next time you come back, you will see Fong Ping at the top of the leaderboard. Kill until the catacombs are scared. Don't forget to pay attention to these big news. Yes, I won't forget. Chan Yunqi smiled brightly and quickly went to pass down the orders. February 27th. Heaven recruited powerhouses from all over. As soon as the orders were passed down, powerhouses from all over were already prepared and gathered in Magic City. Shishan. Fong, you came out of the catacombs. He laughed heartily like a maniac. I'm finally out. He had been guarding Shishan for many years and had not left the catacombs for many years. This time, he finally had the chance to come out. The old man laughed heartily, not at all afraid of the upcoming bitter battle. He had witnessed too many things. He had witnessed Sino Nation's difficult defense in the beginning, the local counterattack after a few years, and then the big counterattack, as well as the seizing of parts of the outer realm. Until now, humans had entered the restricted area on a large scale for the first time. The mysterious restricted area had finally begun to reveal a corner of it to them. He was not Fong Ping. He had spent most of his life in the Shishan catacombs. He had never set foot in the restricted area. Nanjiang catacombs. Fan, Haiping quietly tidied up the house. This powerhouse, who was considered old among humans, felt a little emotional. From Magic City to Nanjiang, and from Nanjiang back to Magic City, it was a different feeling. After tidying up the house without making any noise, the old man walked out of the catacombs. He looked in the direction of Magic City, smiling, and left. One by one, powerhouses gathered in Magic City again. The last time they gathered, Qin Yaozu and Zhang Weiyu broke through and killed hundreds of powerhouses. What about this time? At the same time, capital city, Zhang Tao, Lijian, Nanyunyue, Zhang Weiyu, these desperate realm powerhouses also gathered together on this day. Everyone walked in the air, high above the clouds. Looking down at the ground, they felt that it was indescribably magnificent and beautiful. A golden era. Zhang Tao laughed loudly and said proudly, "Aye, Zhang Tao, let it build it." Although the two seniors, Shen and Chen, started a new martial art, I, Zhang Tao, brought a golden era. In the future, it will be recorded in the history books, and my name will go down in history. Beside him, Li Jin laughed and said, "What about me?" "You?" Zhang Tao laughed loudly and said, "You are destined to be a supporting character. The history books may say that King Wu and the others started a golden era. You will be among them." "You?" Li Zhen smiled helplessly. Nan Yunue and the others also smiled brightly. As they laughed, Zhang Tao's tone changed and he shouted, "If you can kill, then kill. If you can't kill, then trap. Remember, this time, all of you must be trapped. Otherwise, such a golden era will be broken within half a year. If you trap these people, there will be no leader, and the world will be in chaos. Only we, the new martial artists, can fight as one." The golden era was about to be broken. The power of a great emperor would not last for more than a few days. The catacombs, the outland, the bounded domain, and the forbidden sea were all mixed forces. Only by taking away their leaders could they be thrown into chaos. Only then could they fight for more time and more opportunities for humanity. More and more people began to want to spy on Earth. They could not wait. The last passageway had not been opened, and now Earth could not guard these passageways. If this continued, there would soon be emperor-level powerhouses appearing on Earth. True kings would also pour in large numbers. Those people would care about the lives of ordinary people? What a joke! In order to scout for information and find the seed of rebirth, millions of people would die once the pressure was released. Zhang Tao would not let this happen. Beside him, Li Zhen and the others nodded. Zhang Weiyu said with a smile, "He has just become a paragon not long ago, and he is going to participate in such an earth-shattering event. He is so excited that he is shaking. It's a pity for Wu Chuan. This guy will continue to be a bystander." Ha ha ha! Everyone laughed loudly. The 7 paragon ministers of the 4 departments and 4 palaces were all here, including the nominal Qin Yaozu. As for Wu Chuan, forget it. There was no point in mentioning him. They were laughing loudly. Wu Chuan, who was mentioned, flew in the air, gritting his teeth. "If I don't break through this realm, I won't live." Wu Chuan gritted his teeth. He knew what was going to happen next. He had to break through. He had to break through before the sovereign battlefield was broken. Only then would he be qualified to participate in the upcoming event. One more absolute pinnacle meant one more portion of power. The humans wanted to trap hundreds of true kings and dozens of venerable sovereigns with a paragon of around 50. How could it be so simple? He did not want to be left behind on Earth. He could not afford to lose that face. They had all run away, but he did not leave. If someone asked, would he have the face to answer? Old Zhang even pretended to ask him to stay. He was the only official minister. If they left, he, Wu Chuan, would be the boss. What nonsense. I won't be the boss. If I work with this kid, I might have to listen to his commands like this time. Don't even think about it. Wu Chuan was determined. If he did not break through to the paragon, he would not come out even if he was beaten to death. This time, he was determined to break through to the paragon. Otherwise, he would just kill him. Chapter 941. On the last day of February, all the experts gathered at the Heaven Division. That day, Fang Pingan arranged the people until late at night. Taking advantage of the darkness, a palace pierced through the air. It was not Combat Heavenly Palace, but the palace that he seized from Li. Now Fang Ping had named it Sky Palace. Watching the heavenly temple fly away from the Heavenly Division, Chen Yinchi walked out from the darkness below. She glanced at the heavenly temple, stood there quietly for a moment, and quickly left. Not only her, the other members of the Heaven Division also rose into the air and flew in all directions. There was no need to send him off. Neo-martial artists were used to separation. The catacombs of the Southern Territory were filled with the footprints of neo-martial artists. They gathered less, but were separated more. This was what a powerhouse was. The Heavenly Palace was huge. Of course, its defense could not compare to the Combat Heavenly Palace. In the main hall, at this moment, experts from all over gathered. Bei Gongyan glanced at Fang Ping, who was resting with his eyes closed. He did not know what he was thinking, but he still took the initiative and said, "Let's go to the Forbidden Catacombs first. We'll pass through the Forbidden Catacombs. After we pass Mount Royal Sea, we're only 1,000 li away from the place where the Grand Duke battles." After saying this, Bei Gongyan added, "In addition, we've also gathered some information. This time the catacombs for majestic houses are working together. There are probably 400 to 500 rank 9 martial artists and demons in the catacombs. And it seems like there are still people gathering. The number is beyond imagination. In the sky beyond skies, other than our 6 divisions, there are 16 other sky beyond skies. No one from Eternal Rong Sky and Great Peace Sky has come out of seclusion this time. As for the other 14 divisions, we are not sure. We have yet to monitor the specific situation. Of the 8 domains, other than these 2, Wangwu Mountain situation is also unclear. There's no one else in Purple Cap Mountain and Quokang Mountain." When Fang Ping heard that, he opened his eyes abruptly and looked in the direction of Stellar Sky City. This time, Stellar Sky City had practically turned out in full force. Stellar Sky City had been exploring the King battlefield for many years, and almost all of their 9th ranks were there. This time, other than the old acquaintances, Jiang Yuanhua, Su Haoren, Wei Yong, Li Xinmin, the patriarchs of these families, as well as some unfamiliar experts, had arrived. Very strong. The second patriarch of the Zhang family, Zheng Yuehua, was previously ranked 6th on the China Origin leaderboard. Now he was ranked 44th on the Honor leaderboard. The second patriarch of the Zhou clan, Zhou Xinghe, was ranked 7th on the China Origin leaderboard and 52nd on the Honor leaderboard. The Zhang and Zhou clans were not the clans overseeing the domain. The ones who came out from the domain were Jiang, Su, Wei, Shen, and Chen. The Jiang family came from Purple Cap Mountain. The Su family came from Weiyu Mountain. The Chens came from the Xuanda Cave in Taibai Mountain. House Wei hailed from Huatong Mountain. The Shen family came from Mount Luofu. There was also the Yang clan. The Yang clan came from Mount Amaze, Su Ling Paradise, as well as Quokang Mountain and Wangwu Mountain. These were the 8 existing domain lands. At this point, Fong Ping asked, "What's the situation at Huatong Mountain and Luofu Mountain?" Wei family head, Xin family head, do your families know? Xin Mingwei quickly said, "There should be people coming out from Mount Luofu this time. However, we are not too clear about the specific situation. The Shun family has not been guarding the domain for a very long time, since 90 years ago. The Chen and Xin families had already given up on the domain. Chun Yaozu and the rest were guarding it because they had no choice. They did not want the Maple King's people to enter. That was why they had been guarding there for 15 years. The Shun family had long given up on that side. On the Wei family side, Wei Yong said, there are people coming out from Huatong Mountain too. However, they have not contacted us, so we are not clear about the specific situation." Fong Ping nodded slightly and said, "We met them at the battlefield. Both family heads can communicate more with them. All right. Is there anyone coming out from Mount Amaze, Void, Mausoleum Grotto Heaven?" This, Jiang Yuanhua thought for a while and said, "Minister Fong, there's something I want to say." "Just say it, Senior Jiang. You know, the Yang family comes from Mount Amaze. Some time ago, Yang Jingjing from the Yang family left Star Town and went to Tiannan's catacombs. After that, she seemed to have disappeared. Maybe she went to Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven." A figure flashed across Fong Ping's mind. That day when he went to Star Town, he met the current family head of the Yang family, Yang Daohong's granddaughter, Yang Qing's younger sister. Fong Ping said lightly, "Senior Jiang, in the past, you said that the Yang family will not leave Star Town anymore." Jiang Yuanhua said apologetically, "Star Town is more chaotic and there are more things to deal with. We have also neglected this. After Yang Jingjing left, we only knew that she had left Star Town." That day when Fong Ping went to Star Town, it was Jiang Yuanhua who came forward and mediated, asking Fong Ping not to be calculative with the Yang family. He also agreed that the Yang family would not leave Star Town anymore. Fong Ping did not say much. He nodded and said, "Let's go then." He did not care too much. Yang Jingjing was only rank 6 back then. Even if she really entered Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven now, could she reach rank 8? Her family's elder ancestor had died in Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven. Even if Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven's sect leader took her in, and still remembered the Yang family was his disciple, Fong Ping was not worried. Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven's sect leader had even killed the Yang family's elder ancestor. Would she do it for the Yang family's descendants and Fong Ping? When Jiang Yuanhua mentioned this, some people's eyes flickered. Fong Ping did not care at all. If they had the ability, they could contact the people in Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven and join forces to fight against him. After listening to Bei Gong Yan's brief report of the situation, Fong Ping said, "That's what happened. There are many powerhouses from all sides. Not only did demons come to the Forbidden Sea, but there are also many human powerhouses. They are all so-called overseas immortal island powerhouses. According to the 3 realms ranking, there are 33 overseas immortal islands. Both humans and demons have them. The Forbidden Sea's ability is the strongest. If 10 rank 9s come from each family, that's 3 to 400. There are 4 to 500 people in the catacombs, and there are 200 of us. In addition to other grandmasters and boundaries, I'm afraid there will be more than 1,000 rank 9s gathered at the battlefield this time." More than 1,000. This was the number of rank 9s in the battlefield this time. As soon as Fong Ping said this, many people's expressions turned solemn. This was also the reason why they chose to work together instead of fighting alone. There were too many rank 9s. An army of ants could kill an elephant. The rank 9s had not undergone a qualitative change yet. Forget about them. Even Qi Huanyu could die if he was surrounded by more than 10 rank 9s. Fong Ping continued, "Acting recklessly won't work. If more than 1,000 rank 9s all become enemies, then we can only wait to be surrounded and killed. Right now, we can generally be divided into 4 forces. We, the catacombs, grandmasters, and boundaries are considered one side, the overseas immortal island. Everyone, we have to rope in at least one of them. Only then will we have the capital to stand on the battlefield. Brother Jiang, all of you are from boundaries. Can the other grandmasters and boundaries be roped in? Jiang Kuei thought for a while before saying, I think that the overseas immortal island is more suitable. Those immortal islands in misery have always fought alone. They may not know each other and have no interaction with other parties. It's easier to rope them in. As for the other grandmasters and sects, it's difficult. Because of some things in the past, including the North-South War, some people's hatred for the sects and grandmasters is deeper than your hatred for the land realm martial artists. Xianhua also said, that's right. The reason why the grandmasters and sects can't completely unite is because of this. Some situations are very complicated. The overseas immortal island is a good choice. Fang Ping nodded lightly, saying thoughtfully, then the main target of the alliance is those overseas immortal islands. Having said that, Fang Ping looked at everyone and said, after entering, listen to my commands. If you want to get the treasure, listen to me. You have the highest chance. Seeing that some people did not seem to believe him, Fang Ping said lightly, if you don't believe me, it only means that you are ignorant. I, Fang Ping, have only been to the battlefield twice, but I can do whatever I want in the battlefield. The powerhouses in the catacombs have all been killed by me. This is my confidence. If you have this confidence, you can go and try it yourself. If not, then listen to me. When I enter the catacombs, I will never return empty-handed. Everyone knows this. As soon as he said that, Su Bing laughed and said, naturally, we believe in Minister Fang. If not, there would not be this operation. That's good. Fang Ping said slowly, remember this, it's okay to be afraid of death. But if you are afraid of death on the battlefield, such people die the fastest. If I tell you to kill, then kill. Don't dawdle with me. If you are afraid of death, then don't go. Only by killing them until they are afraid is our hope. I'm afraid all of you have a mission. Obtaining the treasure is your only goal. If anyone does not contribute, don't blame me when the time comes to inform the Emperor venerable powerhouses of your clans. I would like to see if you fail to obtain the treasure. What will happen to you people? His words instantly hit everyone's sore spot. Some people's expressions changed instantly. They had come out of the mountains this time to obtain the treasure. This was 100% true. If they did not contribute in the battlefield and did not obtain the treasure in the end, once they were blamed, it would be difficult for them to escape death. Even if they did not die, they would not have a good ending if they offended the Emperor Venerable. Fang Ping's simple words had subdued these people, making Jiang Kuei and the others a little more vigilant. This person looked reckless, but there were some things he was well aware of. He was much smarter than they thought. Fang Ping was too lazy to say more. He waved his hand and said, that's it. Everyone, move around freely and conserve your energy. We'll talk again when we reach the battlefield. Having said that, Fang Ping stood up and strolled out of the basilica. Everyone looked at each other and left. In the Sky Basilica, there were many rooms. Each clan was allocated some. At the top of the Sky Basilica, Tian Mu and the others were flying in the Sky Basilica. Seeing Fang Ping coming up, Tian Mu set up a mentality barrier and asked quickly, how's Kong Ling Yuan? He's not completely awake yet. Fang Ping frowned slightly. When we reach Imperial Sea Mountain, if he's not awake yet, then we can't bring him there. Get someone to send him back. Tian Mu nodded slightly. Then he smiled bitterly. If old Kong wakes up, he'll probably curse his mother. He's only recovered for a few days. His first battle was with the evil sect. A few days later, he fought with the catacombs. He hasn't even woken up yet, and he's already dragged to the battlefield half dead. Kong Lingyuan's injuries back then were not light. He only recovered after recuperating for a few years. After that, in order to wait for the right time, he had been lying low. The first time he fought was with Zhao Xingwu. He was also heavily injured that time. The second time was in the Magic City catacombs. If it weren't for the cat, he would have been dead. Right now, he was still unconscious. They were ready to bring him to the battlefield. Hearing Tian Mu's words, Feng Ping smiled bitterly. There's no other way. There are too few rank 9s in Sino Nation. We have to use them as much as we can. Tian Mu sighed. Actually, it's always been like this. Otherwise, there wouldn't be rank 9s who are seriously injured and dying and are so old. It's not a problem for rank 9s to live for 1,000 years. But in the neo-martial era, how many can live to 100 years old? Let's not talk about others. Take old Yu, for example. Rank 8 used up everything. His injuries were too severe. He had no choice but to die. Sigh. Fortunately, you were there. The imperishable substance you created has helped many people recover from their injuries, including some of the old injuries of some adults. Your contribution is no less than anyone else's. The imperishable substance that Feng Ping created had saved too many people. Otherwise, there would be at least 10 fewer rank 9s today. Take Tian Mu, for example. Without Feng Ping, he would have died a long time ago. Would Wu Quishan and the rest still have the chance to live until now? Even Nan Yunyue, who almost did not advance that time. If she did not advance, she might have been killed on the spot. These people's injuries had been accumulating all along. Even the golden body could not eliminate them. The stronger the powerhouse, the more Sino Nation used them until they died. Kong Lingyuan was not the only one. Feng Ping listened quietly. After a while, he said, "It will be better in the future. We have more and more powerhouses. In a few more days, you old people can have some time to rest. There's no need to rest. When the world is at peace, you can always rest." Tian Mu laughed. "I'm looking forward to the days of retirement. That day will come." Feng Ping laughed. He sat on the eaves and looked at the starry sky. He said softly, "Actually, I'm tired too. Battle after battle, war after war. It's so tiring. I could still rest in the past. Now I don't have the chance. I work around the clock. Senior Tian, tell me, if everyone in this world doesn't know martial arts, no one can destroy the world, and everyone is a normal person. Wouldn't that be much happier? Would they be able to eat their fill and wear warm clothes?" Yes, Feng Ping laughed. Just like the normal people now, living a 9-to-5 life. Although it's monotonous, its happiness. Is such a life good? Tian Mu thought for a while. He said, "Uncertainly, I don't know. Right now, I'm longing for such a life. However, if it really comes to that, maybe I'll get bored. Of course, martial arts is possible. However, if practicing martial arts is just to strengthen the body or to learn from each other, it's not a bad choice." Feng Ping continued to look at the starry sky. He murmured, "In troubled times, everyone longs for peace." Then, how did a peaceful world come about? Tian Mu looked at him and frowned slightly. "Feng Ping, are you okay? Don't be distracted now. When we reach the battlefield, I'm afraid you'll be the target of everyone. If you're not careful, you'll lose your life. How can you let your imagination run wild?" "I'm not thinking wild." Feng Ping waved his hand. Feng Ping stood up and said, "Then I'll go down first. I'll rest for a while." "Sure." Both of them exchanged a few words before Feng Ping entered the palace. The palace had quietened down. Everyone was either cultivating or waiting. No one said a word, including some of the demons. They did not dare to make a sound. There were many powerhouses today. These demons were also afraid of causing public anger. At the same time when the Sky Temple was about to reach Capital City, forbidden catacombs near Mount Royal Sea. At this moment, powerhouses gathered. Some wore a crown on their heads. They had blonde hair and blue eyes. Their auras were extremely powerful. Some wore a kasaya. They were bald and shiny. They held a Buddhist staff and were chanting Buddhist scriptures. There were also people who looked like decaying mummies. They were extremely skinny. Their laughter was horrifying. The powerhouses of the 6 holy lands gathered together for the first time. It was the first time they were so complete. In the group, some were chatting in low voices. Some were looking at the top powerhouses in front of the crowd. Heavenly King subduing Martial King, Sun God, God of War, First Ancient Buddha, Great Pharaoh. In front of the crowd, Zhang Tao put his hands behind his back. He said with a smile, "It's not easy to gather everyone together. We humans are the best. This time we've come out in full force. The catacombs will shake." Martial King, don't say these meaningless words. A blond man with a violent aura, holding a huge battle axe, laughed and said, "Usually we fight. At critical moments, the 6 holy lands are still united. People like us have died once. If it wasn't for Heavenly King digging me out from my grave, we wouldn't be here today." The subduing Heavenly King who was mentioned turned his head to look at him and said with a faint smile, "You remember?" The golden-haired man, wielding the battle axe, came from the Hall of Gods. He was one of the few who were close to breaking through to the Emperor level, the War God. Hearing Heavenly King Jinwang's words, the God of War laughed and said, "I more or less remember a little. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come this far. But I'm just a little curious. Why did you scatter us all over the place, and not all of us in Saturn City?" As soon as he said that, many people looked at the Heavenly King Jinwang. 6 great holy lands. In reality, they were all caused by the Heavenly King Jin. Some ancient experts were dug out by the subduing Heavenly King from all over the world. Some people only had a little bit of spiritual power left, and some people only had a half-useless golden body left. Most people did not remember their past. Only a few people remembered who had saved them back then. Zhang Tao was a little surprised. He smiled and said, "He was the one who dug you out?" I asked him before, but he didn't say anything. I'm curious. Where did he find so many experts? Heavenly King Jin smiled faintly and said, "If you want to dig up a corpse, there are many places. Go to the ruins of the heavenly realm and you can find them everywhere. Or go to some secret places in the Forbidden Sea. There were also experts on Earth back then. There must be people who didn't die completely. Back then, there was also a war on Earth. Of course, it wasn't as big as other places, but Earth was also broken and the land was divided. Many people died. I'm just going to dig around casually, and I'll find you guys soon enough." Everyone was speechless. Someone laughed and said, "So we were all dug out." More or less. The subduing Heavenly King smiled and said, "There's a reason why I dug you out. Most of you proved your Tao on Earth. Then it would be inseparable from Earth. Don't think that it could avoid some things like the land of domains and beyond skies. You are closely related to Earth, so it's inevitable. Speaking of which, the people in Saturn City have complicated origins. They come from the domain lands and other places. Some of them proved their Tao in the catacombs. So, the ones who can avoid trouble are actually them. So, I had to gather these guys together and keep an eye on them. Do you understand now?" "Ha ha ha, I see." Everyone burst out laughing. The Battle Emperor asked curiously, "What did you do in the past? A professional grave digger?" Old Li was really good at digging. There were around 50 peak experts on Earth. Apart from a few who had achieved a breakthrough in recent years, the rest were all old antiques. Did that mean Old Li had dug out 40 to 50 peak experts? Who else could do that? The subduing Heavenly King said with a calm smile, "I just know a lot. I know where battles took place and where people died. I just follow the clues and look for them. Many people have forgotten about some ancient battlefields. If I remember them, I'll be able to find them." The Battle Emperor rubbed his chin and said with a smile, "Old Li, you're ranked second on the monarch ranking. Honestly speaking, can you take on 10 martial monarchs on your own? Even unquestionable Jian can do it, but can't you? You're ranked higher than him." As soon as he said that, everyone looked at the tall old man in front of them. That was right. Even unquestionable Jian could take on 10 people on his own. What about the subduing Heavenly King? second on the monarch ranking. Meanwhile, unquestionable Jian was ranked third on the monarch ranking, one rank lower than him. The subduing heavenly king said smilingly, "So what if I can?" The situation is very complicated. 22 outer heavens, 8 territories, 33 overseas immortal islands. There are plenty of martial monarch realm experts. Can you take on 10 or 30 or 50 at the same time? Besides, ordinary martial monarch realm experts aren't that much stronger than us. You can take on 30, but can you beat 50? The Battle Emperor did not care. He said in disbelief, "Does that mean you can really take on 10 at the same time?" The subduing heavenly king said with a calm smile, "Why don't you guess?" "Guess my ass." The Battle Emperor cursed. "I'm not going to guess." Zhang Tao gave the subduing heavenly king a thoughtful look and said slowly, "Seniorly, I'm actually quite curious. How many paths have you taken?" "How many?" The subduing heavenly king pondered for a moment before saying, "I can't remember. I've lived for a long time. It's hard to remember those things." "Can you tell me how far I can go on each path?" A 10,000-meter path was equivalent to the martial monarch realm, a twofold increase in strength. Zhang Tao previously thought a 300,000-meter path would be equivalent to the martial monarch realm. However, was a threefold increase really the martial monarch realm? Even with a base of 500,000 calories, after a threefold increase including the base, it was only 2 million calories vitality. This was still too far away from the ninth heaven that the dragon transformation heavenly emperor had mentioned. "How far can I go?" The subduing heavenly king smiled. "I don't know. I'm not in martial monarch. How would I know? However, don't think too much about it. It doesn't mean that in martial monarch realm really has 10 million cal vitality. Vitality will actually change. 1,000 meters will change once. If you don't change at 10,000 meters, it doesn't mean that it won't change later. If you keep going, you'll realize that there will be another change. It's actually a process of energy purification. When you change again, your 2 million calories will be comparable to a peak of 4 million calories. If there's another change, it will be 8 million calories." Zhang Tao came to a sudden realization when he heard those words. His eyes moved slightly. "Then how many times has seniorly changed?" "Me." The subduing heavenly king still said the same thing, smiling. "I don't remember." Zhang Tao was almost speechless. Who was he trying to fool? The subduing heavenly king could not be bothered to say more. He smiled and said, "Let's not talk about this. Everyone, don't think too much. This old man doesn't have that strength to suppress the 3 realms. If I really have that strength, I don't need to do this. Others aside, just some of the guys alive now, I might not even be a match for them. That Wang Wu hasn't come out of seclusion. If he does, it's hard to say. Unquestionable sword, that guy. If he really goes all out, it's hard to say who will win. Apart from these few, the 3 realms still have capable people." Zhang Tao frowned and said, "There are more." "There are." The subduing heavenly king sighed emotionally. "The 3 realms is more complicated than you think. There are some things that even I don't know. The 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors are all gone. Were they really gone, or were they just faking it? Where is the earthly sovereign? The earthly sovereign's projection has been maintained for thousands of years. Is the earthly sovereign really dead? Dead. Can he maintain the projection for thousands of years? Dead. Is there a need for him to establish a divine dynasty? The earthly sovereign is not dead. Then what about the others? It's complicated." The subduing heavenly king shook his head and sighed. "So, you don't have to keep watching me. I'm afraid some people have heard some rumors from the catacombs. They say that I want to be the emperor and unify the 3 realms. It's just nonsense. I've been guarding the human realm for countless years. You can treat me as the gatekeeper. In the past, I was entrusted by someone to guard the human realm. Let's not talk about the past. I don't know if it's a responsibility or a mission. It's been too long, so long that I've forgotten the original purpose of all this." Everyone's emotions fluctuated. entrusted by someone who entrusted the subduing heavenly king. The gatekeeper? Why protect the human realm? Before they could think about it, the subduing heavenly king smiled and said, "Let's go and see our old friends. I'm afraid we'll meet a lot of them this time. The two in the turtle shell are probably coming out this time. When they come out, you guys take it easy." These two guys were just remnants of the earthly emperor god dynasty back then. The other experts of the earthly emperor god dynasty might not be all dead. Fate King is bent on breaking the turtle shell. Haha, maybe someone is secretly instructing him. Zhang Tao frowned slightly and did not say anything else. He followed the subduing heavenly king and the others to the battlefield. They arrived 1,000 miles away in the blink of an eye. At this moment, an aura that could break heaven and earth rose. The experts in the catacombs had long sensed that the human experts had come out in full force. At this moment, the aura outside the battlefield was terrifying. It was as if heaven and earth were about to collapse. Chapter 942. The Forbidden Catacombs. Fang Ping walked out of the palace, gazing at Imperial Sea Mountain. Beside him, Old Man Li approached with his sword. Fang Ping tilted his head to look at him, saying helplessly, "I have a feeling that the sword will shatter this time." Old Man Li, "That's why I made an extra one for you." As Fang Ping said that, a rank 9 divine long sword appeared in his hand again. He sighed. "There's no more. I got some from the Forbidden Sea last time, but I made a pair of gloves for Brother Tian. You've used 2. There's really no more." How many rank 9 divine weapons had Old Manly shattered? This kind of violent maniac should use divine weapons. Otherwise, Fang Ping would not be able to keep up with the speed of replacing divine weapons. Old Man Li took the divine weapons silently, then said indifferently, "This is the last time. Kid, I don't need you to provide me with divine weapons anymore. I can kill rank 9s like chopping vegetables now." "No problem." Fang Ping nodded and smiled. "Qi Huanyu, it's yours." Old Man Li, he really wanted to hack Fang Ping to death. "I want to go on a killing spree after advancing this time. You're throwing Qi Huanyu to me? Leave it to Kong Lingyuan. A powerhouse with explosive power like me should kill. Let Kong Lingyuan defend against Qi Huanyu. He's good at it." Old Man Li felt that Kong Lingyuan was more reliable in this matter. Old Kong had fought 1 against 12 previously. Although it was the cat who attacked in the end, Kong Lingyuan could resist for a while. This was a reflection of his strength. As he spoke, a frail figure that looked as if he would fall to the ground in the next moment staggered over and said bitterly, "I don't even know what's going on. You woke me up and now you want me to fight against the enemy? Is it really appropriate?" Kong Lingyuan's face was pale. He smiled bitterly. "When I first saw Fang Ping, I knew I had to stay away. That's why I refused when Fang Ping wanted me to stay. But in the end, I still can't escape this curse." Kong Lingyuan was full of bookishness, but this time he was really bitter. His face was almost like a bitter gourd. After fighting the evil sect that day, Fang Ping wanted him to stay in MCMAU, but he refused. He had thought that he had escaped from Fang Ping's clutches, but now that he was awake, he found himself right under Fang Ping's nose. He had a bad feeling about this. "I feel like I'm going to be seriously injured again." Kong Lingyuan said it sorrowfully. Yes, the premonition was that strong. When he woke up, he was almost scared to death. 200 rank 9s, hundreds of rank 8s. What was going on? Last time, when Sino Nation sent more than 30 rank 9s to battle, they had already beaten their brains out. Now, there were hundreds of rank 9s. Kong Lingyuan calculated the ratio. This time, the opponents might have nearly 1,000 rank 9s. Last time, there were more than 30 versus 100. This time, it was more than 200. Wouldn't it be about 1,000? The truth was as expected. Old Man Li laughed. "Why are you so pessimistic? I'm sure you don't know Qi Huanyu. He's not very powerful, only on par with Zhao Xingwu. He's ranked first, you're ranked third, and I'm ranked fourth. Kong Lingyuan looked at him suspiciously and said after a while, "Are you sure?" Of course. Qi Huanyu had only appeared in the Magic City catacombs after Kong Lingyuan had fainted. Therefore, he did not see Qi Huanyu fight with the four powerhouses that day. But Kong Lingyuan wasn't stupid. She cursed in a low voice. "What nonsense are you talking about? I know this person. He's the #1 powerhouse in the catacombs god list. The only powerhouse who is not a king. You're telling me that he's not powerful?" Old man Li said calmly he's average. His limit is about 400,000 calories vitality. Is he very powerful? Kong Lingyuan sighed. After being in a coma for some time, the world had changed. Li Changsheng, this junior, dared to be so arrogant in front of him. 400,000 calories vitality? Speaking of which, how many years have I been in a coma? Kong Lingyuan asked. The world had changed so quickly. The feeling that Fong Ping gave him was probably no weaker than a powerhouse at Origin 8 or 9. As for Li Changsheng, his sword aura was also sharp. He also felt threatened. How long had it been? Fong Ping calculated for a while and said, "We entered the catacombs on December 28th. You were in a coma that day." "If that's the case, it's been 2 months," Fong Ping lamented. "In the blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. You've been in a coma for quite a long time this time." 2 months? Kong Lingyuan stared at the sky. Why did he feel that 2 years had passed more than that? 2 months. Fong Ping, who was a weak rank 9 that day, now had the strength of Origin 8 or 9. Li Changsheng, who could barely kill Origin 2 or 3 that day, was now ranked 4th on the ranking? He was ranked 3rd? What the hell was this? Fong Ping saw that he had nothing to say and could not help but laugh. "Let's not talk about this. Grandmaster Kong, how's your recovery?" Kong Lingyuan sensed his own situation and said helplessly, "Who did this? The energy in my body is almost solidifying. How many treasures of heaven and earth did they give me? When I woke up, I thought my body was swapped." After complaining for a while, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, Kong Lingyuan said, "I'm a little rusty. My control of my body has slipped a little, but it's not a big deal. I'll recover soon. Find someone to practice with. I should be able to recover to my previous level." As he said that, Kong Lingyuan added, "But my divine weapon is broken. Minister Zhang has prepared this for you previously." Old Zhang had obtained many monsters in the Forbidden Sea previously. Kong Lingyuan's divine weapon was more special. Fong Ping and the others could not help to forge it. However, Kong Lingyuan was considered half a student of Old Zhang. Old Zhang forged it directly. Fong Ping quickly took out a folding fan. Kong Lingyuan held it in his hand and sensed it for a while. He smiled and said, "It suits me very well. It's almost the same as the previous divine weapon. I don't need to get used to it anymore. You guys are all ready. You're determined to let this old man go to battle as soon as he wakes up." Fong Ping laughed and chatted with him for a while. Then he thought for a while and asked, "Grandmaster Kong, don't call me Grandmaster anymore. Call me Old Kong or Old Kong." Kong Lingyuan looked at him, speechless for a while. *CK, I haven't finished speaking. Or Old Kong would do too. This guy, calling me Old Kong, was really smooth. Did he have any respect for the old and love the young? Fong Ping saw his stiff expression and said with a smile, "Old Kong, relax a little. Don't be too stressed. Let me ask you a question. How far have you progressed in your origin path?" Although the 3rd place on the leaderboard was related to the outcome of the previous battle, it was also a fact that Kong Lingyuan had held up 12 people alone. It was not really an overestimation to say that he was 3rd. More than 900 meters. Around 950 meters. Kong Lingyuan laughed and said, "A difference of a few dozen meters isn't actually that big. However, if you're facing an opponent who's on par with you, a little bit of difference might be a little troublesome. 950 meters. That's not a short distance. Fang Ping thought for a while and said, "How high is your basic vitality? How's your strength control?" "About 170,000 calories basic vitality. 90% control should be around." Kong Lingyuan added, "My combat techniques are more compatible with me. In addition to the divine weapon, the increase is probably close to 10%. After calculating it this way, Fang Ping had some understanding of the combat strength of these top-notch rank 9s. Kong Lingyuan's maximum strength was almost 370,000 calories. His explosive force was as high as 90% and could reach more than 330,000 calories. It was indeed much better than people like Wang Hanyue. Basic vitality, 170,000 calories. Fang Ping calculated for a while before saying, "I heard that the weakest paragon has a basic vitality of 200,000 calories. When we walk the origin path, our body's limit will increase after walking 100 meters. Can it increase the limit by about 5,000 calories? More or less?" Kong Lingyuan explained, "That's why the rank 8 foundation is still very, very important. Many people have just entered rank 8-6 stage and advanced with 90,000 calories vitality. After these people advance to rank 9 after one metamorphosis, their vitality is only about 100,000 calories. After that, even if they walk to 1,000 meters, it's only about 150,000 calories. When a paragon metamorphoses again, the increase is probably also fixed, about 50,000 calories. That's why the weakest paragon has a basic vitality of 200,000 calories. Of course, in reality, it's slightly more. After all, we also hone our physiques in rank 9. I advanced at peak 6 stage with 100,000 calories vitality. After entering rank 9, it'll be about 120,000 calories. These years, I haven't had many opportunities to hone my physique, so my vitality is more or less maintained at a normal level." He walked close to 1,000 meters on the origin path. Basic 170,000 calories meant that he did not hone his physique much. Fang Ping rubbed his chin and said, "I'm a little curious. How high is the minister's basic vitality?" He advanced at Golden Body 8 stage. Kong Lingyuan said in surprise, "No way." Minister Zhang advanced at peak Golden Body 7 stage, the same as Commander Li. After reaching rank 9, he honed his Golden Body to peak 8th stage, but that's also a matter for rank 9. As soon as these words came out, Old Man Li suddenly became a little sluggish. Seeing Fang Ping looking at him, he scolded in a low voice. "Don't look at me." He said it himself. He did not forget that when he was at Golden Body 8 stage, Zhang Tao said with conviction that he also advanced at Golden Body 8 stage. He was actually bragging. Fang Ping also did not know whether to laugh or cry. Great, he had another piece of dark history, bragging. Peak Golden Body 7th stage, 120,000 calories vitality advancement, peak 8th stage, 140,000 calories. Rank 9 walking 1,000 meters increases 50,000 calories. Rank 9 transformation counts as 30,000 calories. In that case, the minister has a basic vitality of 220,000 calories at origin stage. If a paragon increases by more than 50,000 calories, that would be more than 270,000. After that, every 1,000 meters on the origin path has an increase, about 10,000 calories each time. When he walks 10,000 meters, he will have 370,000 calories. At 10,000 meters, there will be another transformation. The increase will probably not be less than 100,000 calories. In that case, if the minister only walked 10,000 meters, his basic vitality will be 470,000 calories. Fang Ping asked curiously, "After 10,000 meters, there should be another increase of 10,000 meters. How much does the upper limit increase?" This question they could not answer. At this time, someone behind them chuckled softly. "After 10,000 meters, this should be the new calculation of the neo-martial era, right? Wang Ruobing walked over and said, "According to your calculation, 10,000 meters is emperor level. Then another 10,000 meters can also be understood as emperor level second stage. As for the increase of the body's upper limit, it should be 50,000 calories. Whether it is specific or not, I'm not too sure. The difference is not big." Fang Ping and the others had actually sensed her long ago. Fang Ping looked at her, saying slowly, "Don't you know that eavesdropping is a very dangerous thing?" Wang Ruobing said apologetically, "I'm sorry, I didn't want to eavesdrop. I just have something to talk to you about." "About the treasure?" "Yes." Wang Ruobing pursed her lips. After a while, she said, "My father's life is coming to an end. Initially, I thought I could accept everything calmly. But only now did I understand I can't accept it. Father asked me to bring the dragon-changing heaven disciples to seek refuge with you, saying that the martial king will protect the people of dragon-changing heaven. But no matter how strong the martial king is, he is not my father. What I need is not the protection of powerhouses. I only hope to be able to enjoy some quiet time with my father. It has been 10,000 years, nearly 10,000 years. Every time I wake up, my father will be much older, much more tired. The other venerable emperors have been in deep sleep for 10,000 years, reducing the consumption of their vitality. But my father has not slept for 10,000 years. He has always been guarding me by my side." Wang Ruobing's eyes were red as she said, "Father's strength is among the strongest among the venerable emperors. Even if he is older than the others, he can live longer than the others. But now, because of me, he is about to reach the end of his life. Fang Ping, I know it's hard to say, but I still want to say it. I beg you, if you get the treasure, I mean. Fang Ping looked at her, saying after a while, "You think the treasure can save your father? I'm afraid you are thinking too much. This thing, if I'm not mistaken, is not used to enhance strength, nor is it a heavenly treasure. It's almost impossible to rely on this to become an emperor." I know. Wang Ruobing's tears fell like rain, choking. "I'm just holding on to a sliver of hope. Fang Ping, if this is not possible, can you let me see the ash cat?" Fang Ping frowned slightly. Wang Ruobing said hurriedly, "The ash cat is a powerhouse who has lived the longest. It is even older than my father. Father once said that the ash cat, heavenly dog, and heavenly dog all have ways to extend their lifespans. Their strength may not be the strongest, but they have lived the longest. I would like to ask Emperor Tsang how to extend their lifespans." Fang Ping pondered for a moment, saying, "I'm afraid this is also uncertain. I will help you ask. But with the ash cat's personality, he might not know. The answer he gave me might be that sleeping can make one live the longest." Fang Ping was helpless. This was probably the answer. Wang Ruobing was a little dejected, lowering her head and saying, "Then I'll have to trouble you. Don't worry, this time dragon changed sky. Everyone will listen to heaven's command." This time, in order to seize the treasure, dragon changed sky also turned out in full force. Dragon transformation sky did not think about this, but Wang Ruobing was unwilling to watch him fall. This time she brought a total of 12 rank, 9 powerhouses. Not only rank 9, but also 10 rank 8 people. This was almost the limit of Dragon Change Sky. Dragon Transformation Sky did not have much time to manage Dragon Change Sky because of his daughter's matter. In terms of strength, although it was one of the 4 Brahmas, it was not as good as some of the 18 Black Skies. Fang Ping did not say anything, watching her leave. After she left, he said, "Say, Dragon Transformation Sky's Emperor did not hesitate to consume his lifespan for her. Is it because of fatherly love or other reasons? This woman's previous illness was a little strange. Her life origin was overflowing. Even an emperor-level powerhouse could not stop it." Old Manly laughed, saying, "Think on the bright side. Fatherly love is like a mountain. Don't think of conspiracies all day long." "That's true." Fang Ping nodded, slightly smiling, saying, "Let's continue the topic just now. In this case, more than 10,000 meters, another 10,000 meters. That would be an increase of 50,000 calories vitality. If old Zhang walked 30,000 meters and gained another 100,000 calories vitality, his basic vitality would be as high as 570,000 calories. 30,000 meters increased 2 times his vitality would be as high as 82 million calories, a little scary. The few of them looked at him strangely. Why did he have to calculate this for no reason? Besides, did Zhang Tao really walk out of the 30,000 meters path? Probably not. How could it be so exaggerated? If he was really so strong, would old Zhang have been almost killed when he fought 1 against 3 previously? A peak 1 million cal vitality was at emperor level. If old Zhang could have more than 8 million with the enhancement of the secret art, it would be almost 2 million. If the gap was so big, the guy who just entered emperor level should be far from his opponent. Fang Ping saw them looking at him, sighed softly, and said, I'm calculating whether he has any hidden trump cards or not. If it's really like what I calculated, his strength is not just like now, then he still has a fighting chance this time. But if he doesn't, with his previous strength, his vitality would at most be about 2 million calories. If that's the case, the probability of him being killed is not small. When he reached emperor level, Fang Ping's judgment was that with an upper limit of 100,000 calories, he could probably fight against one more venerable emperor. A powerhouse with 8 million calories vitality might be able to fight against 7 or 8 venerable emperor powerhouses. If it was 2 million calories, 2 or 3 would die at most, and they could not be too strong. Their strength must be lower than his. How strong old Zhang was, this was the key to whether he could come back alive. Hearing him say this, although Kong Lingyuan was not sure what exactly happened, he still said in a low voice, Let them handle Minister Zhang's matter. What we need to solve is the matter at hand. Fang Ping, don't be distracted by other situations. Although I've just woken up, I can feel that your heart seems to be unstable. This is a military taboo. You're the overall person in charge this time. I've taken a look at Sino Nation side, rank 19, rank 18 are all here. If you're unstable, everyone will be uneasy. If they fall into the battle of kings, that will be the real trouble. Fang Ping took a deep breath and said, I'm a little uneasy, but I'll adjust quickly. To be honest, I haven't even taken over such a big mess. Yet I already feel pressure everywhere, so much so that I can't breathe. It's hard for me to imagine. Once these people really leave, what will I do? Fang Ping smiled bitterly. I'm starting to want to run away. He's putting pressure on me on purpose. This old man's heart is black. He's doing it on purpose. Zhang Tao was doing it on purpose. Last time, after leaving those words behind, he ran away and did not explain anything to Fang Ping. However, the more it was like this, the more uneasy Fang Ping felt, the more pressure he felt. Zhang Tao had always complained that he did not have enough pressure, that he did not have enough motivation. Now he was using himself as a wager, making himself a source of pressure for Fang Ping. This kind of pressure was pressing down on Fang Ping, making it hard for him to breathe. Kong Lingyuan laughed, reached out and patted his shoulder, saying, It's normal to be stressed, but you should be even more honored. Not everyone can bear this responsibility, and not everyone is qualified to bear all this. Look at Wu Chuan. I see he's here too. Why didn't the minister look for him? This is what it means to have great power, great responsibility. Kong Lingyuan. A low, icy bellow rang in everyone's ears. Wu Chuan's expression darkened. Did I eat your rice? Now everyone has to poke at me. Who did I offend? I'm still young, do you understand? Forget about Li Changsheng and Fang Ping. But you, Kong Lingyuan, are a few decades older than me. Don't you know that? Seeing that he was about to go berserk, everyone burst out laughing. Some of the nervousness from before had dissipated a lot. Fang Ping watched as the few old people spoke one after another, exposing each other's shortcomings, and could not help but laugh. Adorable old people. They can see that I'm stressed. They're doing it on purpose. I need to pull myself together. What's there to be afraid of? Didn't I say that I'm going to succeed old John a long time ago? It's not time for me to make a name for myself yet, and I'm already nervous. What will I do in the future? Fang Ping licked his lips, looking ahead. Suddenly his vitality erupted and he yelled, "Speed up! Keep your spirits up, all of you. If God blocks, kill God. If Buddha blocks, kill Buddha." "Yes, sir." Above, Tianmu yelled and laughed loudly. Vitality erupted, and the palace's flying speed skyrocketed. In the palace, on the human side, rank 9 powerhouses walked out of their rooms one after another, each of them rubbing their palms together, cackling incessantly. The other powerhouses from all sides were especially ear-piercing when they heard it. Some of the demon powerhouses could not help but shrink their bodies. Why did it feel like these humans were more like demons than they were? The palace's speed skyrocketed, rapidly approaching Mount Imperial Sea. At the same time, outside the King battleground, a large number of powerhouses began to gather. People kept coming from all directions. Among them, the catacomb side was especially eye-catching. There were too many. One by one, rank 9 powerhouses' chi dynamics erupted, even vaguely shaking the true king powerhouses on the peak. A rank 9 could also kill a king. The key was just to see how many people there were. In the past, Li Zhu of the Heavenly Plants Royal Court wanted to form the Heavenly Plants Army, create a joint attack strategy, and use a rank 9 Battle King. It was not impossible. It was just that it failed in the end. The Heavenly Plants Army was half crippled. The left god general died in battle, and the right god general was seriously injured. Today, these rank 9s did not know the joint attack strategy. However, as more and more rank 9s gathered, some of the weaker true kings were already feeling the pressure. On a peak, King Pingshan looked at the rank 9s below, feeling a little helpless. So many people. If they joined forces, they could probably kill him, right? I managed to escape last time, but things are not looking good this time. King Pingshan felt a little helpless. If it was possible, he did not want to come here. The Demon Emperor's treasure, the Emperor's great path, the rule of 2 kings. What did it have to do with him? The key was that he had to come. The 100 Kings Conference had begun. The 4 true king temples had reached an agreement. This time they would turn out in full force to intimidate everyone, kill the 2 kings, and seize the treasure. The catacombs' true kings had to show up. Even if they did not make a move, it was necessary to scare people with their numbers. However, King Pingshan was a little confused. There were so many true kings, resurrected true kings, ancient true kings, and venerable emperors. He could not afford to provoke any of them. He glanced at the Bamboo King and Huai King in the distance, from the corner of his eyes. These 2 guys were actually still alive. Last time when King Baishan died, this guy kept saying that my name offended him and wanted to pick a fight with me. Now that he is dead, no one will pick a fight with me, right? King Pingshan thought to himself. After thinking for a while, he suddenly rose into the air and ran to a peak in the distance. There were people there, and they were a little surprised to see him coming. Just as he was about to speak, King Pingshan said, "Heavenly King Fu, change the boundary. My side is facing the entrance, and it's a little disturbing." Heavenly King Fu had a strange look on his face. After a while, he said, "You want to change the boundary? Do me a favor." Heavenly King Fu was a little speechless, but he did not say much. What was this guy thinking? There are not many experts here, and you are timid. It's very dangerous here. Heavenly King Fu shook his head. You wanted to come here, and I did not force you. It's up to you. Soon, Heavenly King Fu left. King Pingshan waited for him to leave before he cursed in his heart. Idiot. The Fate King was over there. It was good that there were many weak people here. If King Wu and those ancient venerable emperors wanted to kill someone, could they come to their side first? If the 2 kings attacked, could they deal with them first? If the Fate King was there, it would definitely be a focus point. I saw that the situation was not good, and I ran away immediately. No one stopped me, right? King Pingshan muttered in his heart. Dozens of miles away from him, Warlord was also staring at them, and he was a little surprised to see this. He said telepathically, Kijong, this guy is very weak but very cunning. He ran away last time. Is he a follower you recruited in the catacombs? Zhang Tao did not send a telepathic message, but directly shielded the surroundings with his mentality. He smiled and said, that's not it. This guy is so timid that I wonder how he entered the True King realm. I wanted to get in touch with him, but the first 2 times I was hundreds of miles away from him. He ran faster than a rabbit, and I couldn't get in touch with him. Cough, cough, cough. Everyone laughed. Was there such a thing? Warlord said again. Then did you fool people in the catacombs? How is that possible? Zhang Tao denied. I'm not that kid Fangping, and I don't have this chance. The catacombs' true king is not that easy to fool. Warlord looked at him suspiciously. Do you think I believe you? He always felt that this guy was hiding something. Forget it, whatever. Let him be. I'll probably be able to tell this time. As they were chatting, Heavenly King Jin suddenly said, They're here. The next moment, a palace floated over from afar. Far away, above the palace, a young man stood with his hands behind his back, shouting, Irrelevant people, make way! This time, we'll only kill the catacombs' powerhouses. If anyone else dares to interfere, we'll fight to the death. Kill! A roar filled with murderous intent resounded through the sky. Hundreds of true kings gathered, but dozens of rank 9 powerhouses were unstoppable. From afar, their murderous intent boiled, ignoring the surroundings, extremely savage. The savage Fangping had provoked them to the extreme. When he saw Qi Huanyu from afar, he slit his throat and said coldly, Qi Huanyu, I'll kill you today! Humph! An angry roar was suppressed to the extreme. Qi Huanyu almost flew into a rage. Fangping was too much. Fangping, however, did not care. He laughed loudly and said, If I don't kill all of you today, I won't leave the battlefield. As soon as he said that, the surroundings fell silent. Was he crazy? Some of the grandmasters asked each other and found out that this person was Fangping. All of them looked surprised. This was Fangping? Far away, Zhang Tao rubbed his chin and said playfully, Interesting. If I had known, I would have done the same. Catacombs powerhouses, I'll only kill you today. Don't you think the others can't wait to watch the show? Fangping was extremely arrogant, but old Zhang admired him very much. Very good. Once they confirmed their hostile relationship, the powerhouses from Grandmaster, the Borderlands, and the Forbidden Sea would probably not be willing to be enemies with this group of lunatics, right? Old Zhang admired him, but Heavenly King Jin shook his head and said, You better advise them more. This time the catacombs have more than 500 rank, 9 powerhouses. What's there to be afraid of? Our neo-martial artists can fight 1 against 10. 50 is enough. Everyone was speechless. Where did this group of lunatics get their confidence from? One was crazier than the other. Chapter 943. He's Fangping. Fangping's domineering attitude towards the catacombs in front of hundreds of true kings was beyond everyone's expectations. In all directions, there were experts discussing among themselves at this moment. It's him. A group of people gathered in the north. There were men and women leading the group. Most of them looked like young men. One of them was a young man dressed in white. His entire body was like jade, exuding a mysterious luster. Jade-like flesh. This was a sign that one's physique had been cultivated to an extremely high level. Fangping could do it too, but he rarely showed it. Most of the time, he would hide his skin color. The people in the north were from the Forbidden Sea. Overseas immortal island powerhouses. The man with a jade-like body from Boundless Mountain. The mountain master of Boundless Sea of Misery. Ranked 9th on the Emperor leaderboard. The young man was Luo Yu, the last disciple of Boundless Mountain's Mountain Master. He was ranked 8th on the leaderboard. He was a few ranks higher than Jiang Kuei, entering the top 10. Luo Yu smiled faintly when he heard his companions confirm that the person in the sky was Fang Ping. Interesting. How arrogant, someone beside him whispered. Luo Yu chuckled. He might not be arrogant. The human world and the earthly Emperor God dynasty are sworn enemies. So what if he just said a few words? This way, we'll be less vigilant. I'm afraid only he knows the pros and cons, that's true. A fair-skinned woman beside Luo Yu covered her mouth and chuckled. They say he's arrogant, but I don't think so. However, he's not an origin. Did he really achieve Golden Body 9? Luo Yu nodded slightly and looked at Fang Ping. This person cultivates both physique and spiritual consciousness. His golden body can achieve Golden Body 9. I'm afraid something's wrong. Having said that, Luo Yu looked around, then at the palace. Jiang Kuei of Weishan? Jiang Kuei is arrogant, but he's ranked behind. Does that mean Fang Ping is the leader this time? The pretty woman looked at Jiang Kuei and said slowly, Jiang Kuei is also very arrogant. I think he's just using Fang Ping as a puppet. Luo Yu smiled and said nothing. At the same time, above the palace, Wang Hanyue said in a deep voice, The youth in the north is called Luo Yu, a disciple of the boundless mountain, entering the origin realm at the 8th refinement of the Golden Body realm, reaching the 10th refinement realm. He has the strength to lift mountains, and is adept at using the Heaven Equal Staff. He once appeared in the Earth Emperor God dynasty. The earthly Emperor God dynasty was not in the current catacombs. Instead, it was another continent. However, in the final battle that year, it was also beaten to the point of sinking. This was the sinking of God's land recorded in the catacombs. Fang Ping nodded slightly. He knew that Luo Yu was ranked 8th on the leaderboard. Soon, Wang Hanyue looked at the group of people in the west. At the front, there was also a young man leading the group. He was dressed in a green robe and had shoulder-length hair. A sword hung at his waist. In the west, that person should be someone from the peaceful education heaven. Wang Hanyue looked for a while before confirming it. She explained, This person looks like Gu Qing. Gu Qing mainly cultivates the Tao of spiritual sense. So you have to be careful if you meet him. None of us are actually very good at the Tao of spiritual sense. However, Gu Qing was one of the peak experts among them. After reaching reciprocity, his soul had reached the 9th forging. This person can clone, and his clone's combat strength is not weaker than any 10th reciprocity powerhouse, passing off the fake as the real one. Fang Ping said in surprise, 10th reciprocity? Even a paragon can't do it, right? Wang Hanyue shook her head and said, It's not that he can't do it, he's just unwilling. Gu Qing is different. He could have entered true God level a long time ago, but he severed his spiritual consciousness and split it into two. He has always been dual, cultivating 2 spiritual consciousnesses. Fang Ping understood and smiled. I understand now. After killing half of them, he is also half crippled. Don't worry too much. Wang Hanyue was speechless. That was easy to say. Don't be careless. This person is ranked 7th on the leaderboard, 1 rank higher than Luo Yu. Be careful of his origin space. In the origin space, his combat strength will increase exponentially. If he destroys your spiritual consciousness, it will be useless no matter how strong your physique is. I've never entered someone's origin space to fight. I'm a little looking forward to it. Fang Ping looked at Gu Qing and smiled. In the west, the green-robed Gu Qing also looked at him and nodded slightly, looking somewhat friendly. At this time, Wang Hanyue looked to the east. There was also a group of people in the east. It was not a male leader, but a girl who looked like a neighbor's little sister stood at the forefront. Fang Ping glanced at her and suddenly said softly, This girl looks a little like my Gungun. What a cute girl! Her small face also had some baby fat. Fang Ping instantly felt a sense of closeness, even if he did not know the other party. He felt closeness but Wang Hanyu frowned. After a while, she said, "Not familiar." She was not familiar. Jiang Kuei looked for a while, then said solemnly after a long time, "Be careful! People from Mount Wangguo. D*men, these people really came out." As soon as he said that, the round-faced girl in the east seemed to have heard or sensed everyone's gaze. She looked over, smiling like a flower. As if she had noticed Jiang Kuei and recognized him, the cute little girl said in a clear voice, "Jiang Kuei, you're not dead yet?" When the little girl said this, she was also smiling. It seemed like a normal greeting, but it vaguely felt a chill in the heart. Jiang Kuei snorted coldly, his eyes cold and fierce. "Ling Xiao, do you really think I'm afraid of you?" The girl called Ling Xiao giggled. "I didn't say you were afraid of me." "Jiang Kuei, I didn't say anything either. Why are you so angry?" "She's Ling Xiao?" At this moment, Xian Hua suddenly frowned. "She's not dead?" Fang Ping looked at Xian Hua. He had never heard of this name before. It was not on the honor list. Xian Hua frowned. "I've never seen Ling Xiao before, but I know this girl. Mount Wangwu's third-generation successor. Her master is the first disciple of the one from Mount Wangwu. Ling Xiao rarely leaves Mount Wangwu. The few times she does, it's just a fleeting glimpse. But this girl was famous in the blessed Grotto Heaven. Rumor has it that she once went to Crimson City Mountain, one of the top 10 Grotto Heavens, alone, and killed Crimson City Mountain's third-generation chief in front of the mountain gate. I've seen Crimson City Mountain's third-generation chief before. She's extremely powerful, peak rank 10 origin, one step away from true god. But it's said that in the war that year, this girl was involved in the battle of true gods and has fallen. I didn't expect her to still be alive." Jiang Kuei said in a low voice, "Be careful of her. I fought with her once, but I was no match for her." Even if Fang Ping did not know Jiang Kuei well, he knew that he was very proud. When he saw Gu Qing and Luo Yu earlier, he did not show anything. However, when he saw Ling Xiao, he was extremely vigilant. Fang Ping saw this and smiled. How's she compared to Qi Huanyu? Fang Ping would not underestimate a powerhouse who had killed the third-generation chief of the top 10 Grotto Heavens. However, he had seen powerhouses no matter how powerful they were. There was no need for him to be afraid of them. Qi Huanyu. At this moment, Jiang Kuei also looked toward the south, which was the group of people in front of them. Qi Huanyu, holding a long spear and looking stern, stood out. Jiang Kuei looked for a while, then took a deep breath. "This person is very powerful. I've never fought him before, but he's ranked first, so he's not too weak." As for Ling Xiao, Jiang Kuei looked around at the powerhouses and said in a low voice, "I'm afraid she's not weaker than the top 3 powerhouses." Fang Ping rubbed his chin. "There's no ranking on the honor list. I heard that Mount Wangwu's venerable emperor is too powerful, so they don't dare to rank him." "How powerful is Mount Wangwu's venerable emperor exactly?" As soon as this was said, those who knew about it all shut up. Fang Ping laughed and said, "Is Mount Wangwu an enemy or a friend?" Jiang Kuei said coldly, "Enemy." Xian Hua coughed softly and said, "Mount Wangwu is the leader of the northern sect. They specialize in cultivating their physique and are on good terms with Tai Bai Mountain. Weiyu Mountain was the leader of the southern sect. It was reasonable for Jiang Kuei to say that they were enemies. However, Xuande Grotto Heaven was the northern sect's powerhouses. Although they did not specialize in cultivating their physiques, most of them focused on it. Therefore, strictly speaking, Mount Wangwu was on their side. However, after the Great War between the North and the South, this division was not so obvious anymore. There were powerhouses everywhere. The Easterners were the least. It seemed that only Mount Wangwu's group had more than 30 people. In the north were the powerhouses of the extraterritorial Immortal Island. In the west were the blessed Grotto Heaven and Grandmasters. And in the south were the Catacombs powerhouses. Fang Ping provoked the catacombs' powerhouses as soon as he arrived. Now he said loudly, "Everyone from Mount Wanguo, you have fewer people. It's too spacious for you to occupy an area. Why don't we squeeze?" After saying that, Fang Ping waved his hand lightly. Tian Mu and the rest quickly controlled the palace and flew toward the east. Ling Xiao saw the situation and giggled. "Sure, come to our side. But can you kill Jiang Kuei first? I really hate him." Jiang Kuei's face was livid. He did not say a word. Fang Ping chuckled. "You want to kill Jiang Kuei? Not now. How about this? After this, I'll arrange a good place for you guys to spar. It's no problem who kills who. I'll prepare a cemetery for you guys. It's a one-stop service. How about that? But I find him very annoying." Ling Xiao seemed a little unhappy. She said this in a spoiled manner. Fang Ping chuckled. "Little girl, don't mess around. Jiang Kuei is my teammate now. Before he turns on me, he's my friend. If you kill him, I'll kill you. Although you look a little like my sister, I won't hesitate to kill a woman." Ling Xiao looked at him as if she was thinking about something. She smiled and did not reply. The people from Mount Wangu behind her, however, looked at Fang Ping coldly and harumphed coldly. Fang Ping chuckled. "Don't be angry. I'm easy to talk to. There are too few of you. I'm afraid that others will come after you. That's why I'm here to protect you." "Fang Ping." Jiang Kuei quickly transmitted his voice. "Don't get close to these people. You're looking for trouble." He was very displeased. Why did Fang Ping want to get close to the people from Mount Wanguo? This was not a good thing. Fang Ping also transmitted his voice and laughed. "It's fine. The 4 directions are all occupied. We can't just stay here forever, right? It seems that the Easterners are the least. It suits us best. You, what are you afraid of? Jiang Kuei, you're so timid. Can you really enter true God level?" Jiang Kuei almost vomited blood. Was this a problem of being timid? Just as Fang Ping and the others were heading east. In the distance, Heavenly King Subduer suddenly shook his head. "The ignorant are fearless. This kid," as he said that, Heavenly King Subduer looked at the void and said lightly, "Green Lotus, since you're here, why don't you come out and meet me?" In the next moment, a beautiful figure appeared. Zhang Tao frowned slightly. Emperor level, Lord of Mount Wanguo? As he was thinking, Heavenly King Subduer laughed. "Your master didn't come?" "Master?" Zhang Tao was shocked. It was the first time he discovered that a powerhouse's disciple was actually an emperor-level powerhouse. Mount Wanguo actually had more than one emperor-level powerhouse. The venerable emperor, who was called Green Lotus, looked at Heavenly King Subduer and nodded slightly. "Heavenly King, how have you been?" Heavenly King Subduer smiled brightly and said, "I didn't expect Mount Wangu to open its mountain gate this time. It's somewhat beyond my expectations. Your master also wants to seize the earthly emperor's relic?" Venerable Emperor Green Lotus smiled and did not reply. He looked at the human powerhouses and soon saw Zhang Tao. He chuckled. "This is King Wu?" Zhang Tao's brows relaxed. He smiled. "It's me. I've been to Mount Wangu a few times and exchanged glances with the powerhouses in Mount Wangu from afar. I thought it was the Lord of Mount Wangu. Now it seems that I've misunderstood. It should be Venerable Emperor Green Lotus." The ranking he made was not really made up. He had investigated some of the experts before. He had not entered the Grotto Heavens, but he had a battle with the powerhouses in the Grotto Heavens. In his ranking, many powerhouses had not appeared yet. The Lord of Mount Wanguo was ranked 9th, even above Gong Zhuanzi. And now, if that person was Green Lotus, it would be very terrifying. The disciple of the Lord of Mount Wanguo was stronger than Gong Zhuanzi, the sect master of one of the 10 Grotto Heavens. Green Lotus chuckled. "It should be me. Master has not come out of seclusion for many years." The trivial matters in the mountain are all handled by Green Lotus. After saying that, Green Lotus looked at Heavenly King Subduer and bowed slightly. Heavenly King, Mount Wangu has no intention of interfering with worldly affairs. Why do you have to force us to suppress Mount Wangu for 1,000 years? As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned again. Everyone knew that Heavenly King Subduer had been guarding Mount Wangu. But where did the suppression come from? Heavenly King Subduer smiled. Green Lotus, you misunderstood. I'm helping you guard the gate. Green Lotus looked at him deeply and said after a long time, Heavenly King, you have a noble status. Mount Wangu can't afford to have you guard the gate. What identity are you talking about? That's all in the past. Heavenly King Subduer waved his hand and said with a smile, Let's not talk about this. As he spoke, Zhang Tao said with a smile, Let's talk about it. Green Lotus the Arch. How noble is Senior Heavenly King Subduer's status. Green Lotus looked at the two of them and seemed to have discovered something. She chuckled. King Wu, it seems like you don't know. Heavenly King Subduer interrupted with a smile. Green Lotus, speak properly. We haven't seen each other for many years, and you're still so mischievous. Be careful, or I'll spank you. Be good and don't talk nonsense. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. Green Lotus the Arca's expression changed slightly, but she did not get angry. She bowed slightly again and said, Then Green Lotus has spoken too much. Heavenly King Subduer was still smiling. It's fine. I'm the gatekeeper now. Everything else is fabricated. However, I just left for a few days, and you guys came out. Really, you didn't even say hello. The old man was a little long-winded and said with a sigh, I've been outside for 1,000 years. You guys didn't even invite me in for a cup of tea. Your master doesn't care about old friendships either. After so many years, he never mentioned inviting me in for a chat. There aren't many old friends left. I wanted to chat with Wang Longbian a few days ago, but that guy doesn't seem to remember me. Sigh, things remain the same, but people change. The world has changed. It was just a few words, but it was shocking. Wang Longbian, Dragon Transformation, Heavenly Emperor, one of the most ancient thearchs. Green Lotus Thearcha's expression changed slightly. Master has never come out of seclusion and doesn't know that Heavenly King is outside. Before Master went into seclusion, he said that he would not open the mountain gate within 1,000 years. Is that so? Heavenly King Subduer said with a smile. Then this old man misunderstood. Why don't we not stay here? Since 1,000 years have passed and you guys are all out, I'll go to Mount Wangu? Green Lotus Thearcha's expression changed again. Heavenly King Subduer laughed again and said slowly, Forget it, I won't disturb you any more. Since your master wants to go into seclusion, then go into seclusion well. As for you, little Green Lotus, since you're here this time, do something. Mount Wangu helped the human martial artists this time. It's not easy for the human martial artists. Heavenly King Subduer sighed. It's not easy. I've helped you guys guard the mountain gate for 1,000 years. It's more or less hard work. I think this should be no problem, right? Green Lotus Tharch did not say anything. Why, this old man has guarded for 1,000 years, and I can't even exchange for the help of a few Origin Realm martial artists. Heavenly King Subduer said with a smile, Green Lotus, this old man hasn't fought for many years. You've also become a young lady. It's not good to spank you in front of everyone, right? Green Lotus Thearcha's expression changed again. She quickly smiled and said, Since Heavenly King has this intention, Green Lotus will remind Ling Xiao. That's for the best. Heavenly King Subduer also smiled and said calmly, Some things can't be mixed up. We're all old friends. This old man doesn't want to fall out with your master, just like that. There's no need. By the way, in a few days, someone might go to your mountain gate to pay a visit. This old man wants to inform them in advance. Let's sit down and have a chat. There's no need to fight to the death. If your master is still here, then entertain him. Don't kill him just because of a disagreement. As soon as these words came out, Green Lotus frowned again. After a while, she said slowly, Mount Wangu does not accept guests. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Heavenly King Subduer laughed and ignored her. He looked at Zhang Tao and said, Tell that kid that the people of Mount Wangu can be used appropriately. However, these witches are fickle. Be careful, don't fall into their trap. These words were said in front of Green Lotus. Zhang Tao glanced at him, then at Green Lotus the Arch, and said with a smile, Understood. As he said that, he quickly transmitted his voice. You can order around the women of Mount Wangu, but they might not be good people. Think about it yourself. That Ling Xiao should have entered the desperate realm before. Later, she seems to have fallen and is considered a pseudo-peak. However, her strength is extremely strong. She might have a chance to enter the desperate realm temporarily. Take it easy, kid. If you drag her for 30 seconds, she will fall again. Of course, if she's killed in 30 seconds, don't blame me for not reminding you. Use Heavenly King Subduer to scare her at the critical moment. Just say that she attacked and destroy her entire sect. That's all. When Zhang Tao's voice rang in his ear, Fang Ping's gaze moved slightly. He looked at Ling Xiao and said with a smile, Miss Ling Xiao, how about killing Qi Huanyu for me this time? Don't worry, I think it won't be a problem to kill Qi Huanyu in 30 seconds. Less than 100 meters away from him, Ling Xiao's expression changed. She knew. Fang Ping smiled innocently. He looked at her with a warm smile, as if saying, I know your trump card, but it's okay, I can suppress you. Do you dare to attack me? Do you dare to provoke me? Fang Ping's smile became even brighter. Then his expression suddenly turned cold. He ignored her and looked into the distance, shouting, Li Zhu, do you still want your son? I've gone through so much trouble to bring him here. If you don't want him, I'll kill him right now. Coincidentally, killing the son of a lord of the royal court is not bad either. The son of a top 10 powerhouse on the emperor leaderboard is even better. In the distance, Li Zhu was like a sickly ghost. He did not hover in the air, but sat on a throne and landed on a peak. Beside him, there were many powerhouses protecting him. Upon hearing that, Hua Qidao shouted, Fang Ping, let His Highness go, or else today will be the day you die. Fang Ping's face was full of disdain. He scolded, Li Qidao, come here. If you dare to come within 30 meters of me, I'll let Li go. I'll keep my promise. If you don't come, you'll be my grandson. Who knows? I might even have an emperor-level son. Who knows whose son you are? How dare you? An angry roar was heard. It was not from Li Zhu's group. In the distance, Maple King's eyes were cold. He did not look at Fang Ping, but at Zhang Tao and the others in the sky. He said coldly, King Wu, do you want to start the battle between the true kings now? Fang Ping insulted Li Zhu in front of all the true kings. That was equivalent to insulting the entire royal court. Even if Li Zhu was their enemy, they could not allow Fang Ping to humiliate Li Zhu. Zhang Tao chuckled. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Fang Ping, how can you say that? As he said that, he scolded. If you want 300 to 500 divine weapons and 300 to 500 mineral veins, that's enough. Who allowed you to talk nonsense here? Does the catacombs' true king care about these things? Having said that, he looked at Maple King and said, Hurry up. Once you're done, let Li Zhu's son go and let them in. If the second king regains his strength, we'll be in trouble. Maple King's expression was icy. On the Sky Plant's royal court side, many true kings were ready to fight, glaring at each other. Zhang Tao chuckled. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture because of the smaller picture. It's not a big deal. Money is just a worldly possession. Tell me, is this a big deal? Compared to the second king or the demon emperor's treasure, which is more important? Cough, cough, cough! At this moment, Li Zhu coughed for a while, then laughed. Zhang Tao, I haven't seen you for many years. You're still the same. It seems that I was right to say that you're the shame of the true kings. Zhang Tao grinned and said, Li Zhu, take a guess. If I kill you right now, will they just watch, or will they just watch? Or wait for you to reveal your strength? If you guess correctly, I won't do anything to you. How about that? Li Zhu laughed. Zhang Tao, why do you have to do this? Give me the money then. Zhang Tao looked at his watch and said, It's almost 7 in the morning. We're in a hurry. Hurry. While the two were talking, the others did not speak. However, at this moment, many people's faces stiffened. Li Zhu was fine. He had the demeanor of a true king. Zhang Tao, martial king, human king, did they hear it correctly? At this moment, many people looked at Fang Ping, then at Zhang Tao. Were these two really the leaders of the human world for generations? The more they looked, the more they did not look like it. Yet, the human world was unprecedentedly powerful. Then he looked at the people from Mount Wangu beside him and said in a low voice, Don't misunderstand. I'm different from the martial king. I don't care about money. For a moment, the entire battlefield was eerily quiet. It was supposed to be a huge event, but after these people made a scene, they suddenly felt that it was unreal. Are we really preparing for a big war here? P.S. Promote a book, The Exciting Years of Rebirth by the Royal Hired Cat Big Boss. It will be available tonight. Brothers, please support it. Thank you. Chapter 944. In simple words, March was probably Old Eagle's most fatigued month. His new book had been published in June of last year, and it had been almost 10 months since then. It wasn't that he was complaining, but that he really couldn't handle the long-term high-intensity updates. His average monthly update was more than 500,000 words. His body was still fine, but his brain really couldn't keep up. He didn't even have much time to think about the new plot, so he could only steal some time from his busy schedule to come up with a simple summary. But it was still 5 million words, and the plot had become repetitive and cliched, making Old Eagle very vexed. Sometimes, when he wanted to take a leave to straighten out his thoughts the moment he did, someone would say, Old Eagle, you're too arrogant, that you're not as good as before now that you've become a god, and so on and so forth. In any case, you're just very disappointed. The pressure was great, and he didn't dare to take a leave or stop. The more tense he was, the greater the pressure. Brothers, you might not understand how difficult it was to update 5 million words in 10 months without any advance drafts. It was truly difficult, and I was about to go bald. Old Eagle knew about the lack of updates, but he really couldn't write that much every day. Even if he added more updates in the end, there was no need to do so, so he could only continue owing. In addition, Old Eagle's word count for each chapter was around 6,000 words, and he didn't have the mood to write 23,000 words per chapter, insisting on writing 7 or 8 chapters per day. Even though he said all this, he still hoped that his brothers could understand and finish well, so that Gao could have a good ending and not collapse in the later stages. So, in April, he might take a few more days off. Of course, he wasn't sure which days he would be taking, so it was better to give him a heads up. That was all. In the end, let's ask for guaranteed monthly votes. Gao might not be able to write until the end of the year. If he didn't ask for votes now, in 2019, Old Eagle might not even have a chance to enter the top 10 of the Wind Cloud monthly rankings. I hope that my brothers will support him. Thank you all. Chapter 945. There's no need to continue this farce. Amidst the silence, an indifferent voice sounded. Fate King opened his giant palm and slammed it toward the Sky Temple. Since you won't let them go, I'll just kill them. Fate King was ruthless. He was not interested in watching them fool around, so he attacked to destroy them. Did you ask for my permission? Zhang Tao was all smiles. He scolded in a low voice. If they don't listen, I'll beat them up. A pointer appeared in his hand. He waved it lightly and whipped it toward the void. Crack! In the void, an energy palm that covered the sky was cracked. Fang Ping was fearless. He looked at Fate King from afar and sneered. So impatient? Are you in a hurry to die? Fate King, don't force us humans to start a war with the Destiny Royal Court. It's not up to you. Fate King was indifferent. Zhang Tao chuckled. Sorry, that's what I meant too. Don't jump. If you keep jumping, we'll end up killing you. Do you believe me? Fate King was silent. After a while, he said slowly, Zhang Tao, don't take the divine land's tolerance for you for granted. Zhang Tao smiled and said, my confidence comes from the human race, not your tolerance. I've said it before, I'm barefooted. I don't care about anything. You can try. The silence continued. After a while, on the peak, Li Zhu coughed softly. He smiled faintly and shook his head. Forget it, forget it. Don't ruin things for the Li family. I won't carry the mineral veins and divine weapons. I'll use this to exchange for little, and, having said that, a fruit that looked like a ginseng appeared in Li Zhu's hand. Fang Ping's expression changed. He looked around but did not say anything. Li Zhu did not give him the fruit. Hua Qidao took the fruit and flew toward Fang Ping. He stopped 100 meters away from Fang Ping and said coldly, Hand over His Highness! He's just a piece of trash. It's hard to say if he's Li Zhu's son. Fang Ping sneered. He made a grabbing motion and grabbed the slightly dispirited Li Yi from the Sky Temple. He tossed her aside and said coolly, Li Yi, come and find me anytime. Li Yi did not say anything, letting Fang Ping toss her. Hua Qidao, who was not far away, did not say anything. Just as he was about to catch Li Yi, King Hua said, Be careful! Hua Qidao was stunned at first, then his expression changed. He had already grabbed Li Yi's arm. However, a huge force suddenly came from Li Yi's body, and an explosion sounded. Li Yi's arms exploded. Hua Qidao's right hand exploded into a bloody mess, and he retreated dozens of meters. Trash! Fang Ping took the cat fruit and examined it in his hands. Without even looking at him, he said calmly, You can't even withstand my remaining strength. If you go in, you'll definitely die. Hua Qidao's expression was dark and uncertain. Around them, some level 9 powerhouses' expressions changed. Very strong. Hua Qidao was not a weakling. He had the strength of a level 5 origin source cultivator. However, Fang Ping had borrowed Li Yi's body to unleash the remaining force and wound Hua Qidao. Even though Hua Qidao had let his guard down, Fang Ping's prowess still caught the attention of many people. This person needed to be retried. Hua Qidao did not say a word as the injury on his hand healed quickly. Both of Li Yi's arms had exploded. Her head was lowered as she silently healed her injuries. There was a moment of silence. At this moment, high up in the sky, an indifferent voice came from the void. Is this a cat fruit? This person hid in the void, tearing space and hiding in a spatial rift. However, he knew that this was a cat fruit, and he was obviously a veteran powerhouse. Soon, in another void, another powerhouse said, It's a cat fruit. Li Zhu, where is the cat tree? Hand over the cat tree. More than one powerhouse spoke up. At this moment, several powerhouses spoke up, forcing Li Zhu to hand over the cat tree. Cat tree! What a ridiculous name. But a cat's tree was a cat tree. Cat fruit was also a cat's favorite food. At this moment, only they knew what these powerhouses were thinking. On the peak, Li Zhu said in surprise, Cat fruit? Cat tree? Is this a cat fruit? This king only obtained it by chance in the Guardian Royal Court. As soon as he said this, waves of mentality were directed toward the Guardian Palace. The Guardian Palace was led by the Celestial Demon King. However, the Celestial Demon King did not appear at this moment. The Xian Dragon was there, but it was on the Destiny Palace's side. On the Guardian Palace's side, there was a giant phoenix on the peak. Sensing the mentality, the phoenix snorted and said in a female voice, I don't know what a cat tree is. This is a holy fruit born by the Azure Emperor. The Azure Emperor has been missing for many years. Do you want to fight us to the death? As soon as the words came out, many giant beasts and towering plants revealed their auras. The Guardian Palace was the weakest of the 4 royal courts. Even the weakest imperial court had 36 true monarchs. Tianji and the Destiny Palace also cooperated with them, so the Phoenix wasn't afraid. The Azure Emperor? Someone sneered. The Azure Emperor? How dare you? It really is a cat tree. Hearing this name, everyone confirmed that it was indeed a cat tree. This fellow had escaped from the Cat Palace and entered the Guardian Palace. At this moment, many people began to plan. The cat tree was a supreme treasure, and the Azure Cat wouldn't take anything without it. It was able to keep the cat tree in the Cat Palace because it was special. The fruit it bore could repair the origin space and even open up the origin Dao. The cat tree itself was a supreme treasure. This was one of the reasons. Secondly, the cat tree could be used to attract the Azure Cat. The Azure Cat was the real treasure. These people fell silent. Fang Ping, on the other hand, took a deep look at Li Zhu. Something was wrong. Something was definitely wrong. This fellow did not take anything out except for the cat fruit. He knew that this was the fruit of the cat tree, and he even knew that it was closely related to the Azure Cat. He did it on purpose. What was he trying to do? Was he plotting against the Guardian Palace or the Azure Cat? The Azure Cat liked the cat fruit. Fang Ping knew this very well. The last time the Azure Cat saw the cat fruit, it was extremely reluctant and repeatedly told Fang Ping to help it find the cat tree when he had time. The Azure Cat lost the divine weapon and did not mention looking for it. However, after losing the cat tree, it reminded Fang Ping several times to look for it when he had time. It seemed that the cat tree was very attractive to the Azure Cat. Thinking of this, Fang Ping suddenly kept repeating in his mind, "Big Cat, are you there?" Big Cat reply. After a while, a fat figure appeared, huffing and puffing. "What's the matter?" "Where are you?" "I'm in a hurry," Fang Ping said helplessly. "Do you need to puff?" "You're a fellow comparable to an emperor-level powerhouse. Is it that tiring to rush to a place like this?" "Do you know Li Zhu? Did anyone miss you just now?" "Yes, so many people. I don't want to talk to you anymore." The Azure Cat had already accepted its fate. In that short while, there were not 1 or 2 figures coming out of the dark swamp, but more than 10. It was too lazy to look anymore. Annoying. Think, whatever. I don't care anymore. Who knows about you having a cat tree? So many people. The Azure Cat scratched its head with its paws. I planted a cat tree. Many people know about it, right? But planting a cat tree was a long time ago. Those who know about it should be people from thousands of years ago, right? Fang Ping was helpless. If that was the case, he could not prove anything. Although Li Zhu knew about the cat tree, it did not mean anything. Maybe the cat tree itself said it. "Liar, have you found the cat tree?" The Azure Cat suddenly asked, as if it was hungry. It stuck out its tongue, a little expectant. Fang Ping was helpless. "You're a cat, not a dog. Why did you stick out your tongue?" "Not yet, but this time the cat tree might come out." "Oh, right, that fellow has changed his name to Blue Emperor now. He still misses you and can't forget you." Blue Emperor, Blue Emperor. This tree obviously did not forget the Azure Cat. As for whether it was a good memory or a bad one, it was hard to say. Having said that, Fang Ping thought for a while and said, "There's a big bad guy called Li Zhu who wants to kill you. Do as you see fit. If you don't find it tiring, find a chance to stab him to death." The Azure Cat did not care too much. It had long been used to it. Where would it have the time to stab someone to death? It was very troublesome. The man and the cat communicated for a while. Soon, Fang Ping ended the conversation. The cat tree incident ended here. Blue Emperor had disappeared for many years and had not shown up. This time, Blue Emperor was not here either. In addition, this was related to the Demon Emperor's treasure. Even if many of them had made up their minds to protect the palace after this, they did not dwell on this too much. Li and Hua Qidao had also returned to the peak where Li Zhu was. Li Zhu did not talk much with Li En. Both father and son were very quiet. Soon Life King said, "Since everyone is here, then I'll say a few words." This time, everyone is entering the land of the Imperial Battleground for the treasure. The situation in the land of the Imperial Battleground is complicated. The two kings have already woken up. It's not like they did nothing all these years. The number of corpses of those who died in the battle back then is extremely small. Most of them are kept in the Imperial Palace. This time, when you enter, I'm afraid you'll be facing an army made up of countless powerhouses' corpses. Before obtaining the treasure, don't simply start a dispute. When he said this, Life King looked at Fang Ping and said calmly, "If the land of rebirth wants to fight, Divine Land is not afraid of a battle." However, Fang Ping, think carefully. Do you want both sides to suffer or to obtain the treasure first? Fang Ping chuckled. Life King, I was just joking earlier. Can I really kill all of you? Right, where's Ji Yao? Is Ji Yao the leader this time? If she's the leader, then we'll have room to cooperate. If Qi Huanyu is the leader, then I don't like him. I might even fight him to the death. Having said that, Fang Ping looked around and asked curiously, Ji Yao isn't here? She's actually not here for such an important matter. Life King, are you sure Qi Huanyu will still give you the treasure after he gets it? If your granddaughter doesn't go and someone else gets it, it might be gone. He spoke as if there was no one else around, but Life King's expression was gloomy. The experts from the other forces also had a strange look on their faces. Fang Ping was related to the Life King's descendant? Some powerhouses did not know the situation. Fang Ping was extremely hostile toward the catacombs martial artists. The moment he arrived, he yelled about killing them. Now, however, when he mentioned Ji Yao, he seemed to be extremely friendly. This friendliness did not seem to be faked. They were all top-notch powerhouses. They could still slightly sense this kind of emotional change. At this moment, many people's gazes turned strange. As Fang Ping spoke, Zhang Tao suddenly scolded in a low voice, "Shut up! I told you not to say it, but you just had to say it." If others misunderstand that we're working with the Destiny Royal Court, won't the catacombs have internal strife? If this internal strife happens, how will the Destiny Royal Court support us? Last time, we finally killed King 100 Mountain in exchange for this opportunity, but you just had to ruin it. I think you'll fall for this mouth sooner or later. Enough. Life King's voice was icy as he said coldly, "Martial King, with our status, there's no need to continue this childish game." Zhang Tao smiled. "I understand. It's hard to tell what's real and what's fake. Don't worry, they don't know whether we're working together or not." Beside him, Venerable Green Lotus looked at him strangely. This person was too unusual. He spoke like a lunatic, but thinking about it carefully, could he really be sure that the Destiny Royal Court did not work with the human martial artists? He did not dare. This was the current emperor, the emperor who truly rose to power in the human world. Not only him, the emperor's successor in the east seemed to be carved from the same mold as him. Were all the descendants of the emperor like this? Venerable Green Lotus glanced at Fang Ping, then at Ling Xiao, as if he was transmitting something. Ling Xiao listened for a while, then flashed a harmless smile at Fang Ping. In the end, Fang Ping replied with an even bigger smile, a smile so bright it made people panic. Ling Xiao's expression froze, speechless for a while. Seeing this, Jiang Kuei cursed in his heart. They were all shameless people. Ling Xiao liked to pretend to be harmless. At first glance, she really looked like a girl next door. In the end, Fang Ping was even more harmless than her. If he did not consider what he said earlier, who would believe that this guy was so domineering and arrogant when he first arrived with this smile? These two treacherous fellows, it's best if they perish together in the graveyard of gods. They were thinking that Life King was no longer willing to talk to Zhang Tao. All the catacombs' true kings knew that talking nonsense with a martial king would not end well. This guy was especially talkative. The catacombs' true kings were used to being high and mighty. They did not have so much time to talk to him like a shrew. Life King ignored him and said slowly, "Since everyone is ready, let's go in. We'll enter from the god general territory." At this moment, Fong Ping was like an obedient student, raising his hand and gesturing. "Life King, do you want to go in together? Or do we go in one by one? Who goes in first and who goes in last? If the people who go in first set up some traps, then won't the people behind be unlucky? Also, after we get the treasure, we're out. I'll say this in advance. After I get the treasure, I'll hide it. It's useless if you kill me directly. I'm good at hiding things. Maybe I'll tear space and hide it somewhere. If I can put it in the Sanjiao Gate, I'll put it in directly, or let the human powerhouses hide it. If you kill us, that thing will be gone. I'll say it in advance, lest you guys kill me the moment you see me. Don't blame me for not warning you then." Everyone quietened down again. At this moment, the true kings were holding back their anger, wanting to kill someone. However, those rank 9 martial artists all had strange expressions on their faces. Fong Ping's words reminded them, too useful. This guy was really not simple. Just based on these few words, even if the king battleground was breached, even if the treasure was on them, before these true kings got the treasure, they would never kill anyone. Their lives were guaranteed. At least there would not be a situation where they would be killed in seconds the moment they came out. The Life King also held his breath. Talking to Zhang Tao and Fong Ping was especially tiring. However, these two were really smart people. After Fong Ping said this, did everyone dare to gamble? Of course not. If it was really hidden in the Sanjiao Gate, if they were accidentally killed, they would not be able to cry even if they wanted to. Whether it could be hidden in the Sanjiao Gate, no one knew. Perhaps only the two kings knew about this. Seeing that they were silent, Fong Ping chuckled and said, "Don't worry, when I get the treasure and come out, I'll definitely hand it to the martial king. Don't look for me. Ask the martial king for it. Of course, the prerequisite is that I'm alive." Zhang Tao scolded jokingly, "I'm so badly injured. You're giving it to me? Don't give it to me. Give it to the sky-suppressing king." Both of them seemed to have already decided who the treasure belonged to. It was in their pockets. Today's main character was not the catacombs with the most powerhouses, but these two had stolen the limelight. In reality, the humans were not considered strong. However, at this moment, they seemed to be so strong that they did not care about the 3 realms. Many people's eyes wandered. No one knew what they were thinking. The silence lasted for a moment before the Life King said slowly, "We'll expand the passageway. All of you can enter together, or you can enter from other territories. It's up to you." The king's battleground had 4 entrances, namely the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Although the rank 7 territory was blasted last time, it was repaired quickly. If one entered from other territories, the journey would be longer, and they would have to break through the boundary walls between each territory. Having said that, as if they did not want to talk to Fong Ping anymore, the Life King and the rest made their moves one after another. Streams of powerful energy gushed out and began to expand the passageway. Seeing that, Fong Ping curled his lips and said, "If it can be expanded, why don't we just tear the boundary walls? Is there a need to go through so much trouble?" No one paid attention to him. The Life King and the rest did not even bother to explain anything to him. The entrance was the entrance. The chaos origin was chaos origin. What did Fong Ping know? No one paid attention to him, but Fong Ping did not care. Without strength, of course, no one paid attention to him. When he had the strength, he would kill them one by one sooner or later. While the Life King and the rest were opening up the passageway, Wu Chuan and the rest came over and transmitted their voices. "Which way are we going?" At this moment, Qi Huanyu and the rest seemed to be going through the rank 9 territory. The group of people from the extraterrestrial immortal island, on the other hand, were staring at the rank 6 territory passageway. These people might be preparing to enter from the outermost area. There were pros and cons to going through the rank 9 territory. The advantage was that the distance was short and they might be able to reach the space battlefield faster. The disadvantage was that once they encountered enemies, they would be the first to bear the brunt and be the first to suffer. Fang Ping was not in a hurry to speak. He looked in Gu Qing's direction, smiled and waved his hand, gesturing. "Which way is the Grand Master going?" Gu Qing glanced at him, a smile on his face, and said slowly, "Ascension territory." Fang Ping nodded, then said in a low voice, "Life King and the rest are crazy. We're not going through the same territory. Is it necessary to expand the entrance?" Everyone was silent. The Life King and the rest were still expanding the entrance, but at this moment they did not know what to do. Some of the true kings were even embarrassed into anger. The bastard was the one who said that it was inconvenient to enter from the front and back. He was also the one who said that the people in front had set up a trap. The Life King and the rest were in a hurry to let people in. They were too lazy to talk nonsense and directly expanded the passageway. In the end, the one who said that they did not want to go through the same territory was also him. The Life King's gaze was ice cold, the light in his eyes bursting, piercing Fang Ping's back. "Fang Ping, provoking me again and again. I hope you won't regret it." Fang Ping twisted his body, avoiding his line of sight. He sighed, "Then I won't provoke you anymore. If I don't provoke you, will you give me any benefits? Will you not have the intention to kill me? The catacombs' true kings are like idiots. How many of your people have I killed? Every one of you is shouting that you want to kill me. Look at the situation and they're still provoking you? What's wrong? Can't I? If you're not convinced, then make your move now." Fang Ping's expression was indifferent. They were mortal enemies. Now that everyone was talking to each other peacefully, it was not because they had made peace. The catacombs' arrest warrant was still there. Any true king who saw him alone would want to kill him. Was there a need for him to make compromises? Fang Ping did not care. The Life King was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed. "You have guts. You're right. You're very perceptive. Your ability to judge the situation is not inferior to your ability to speak." Fang Ping grinned. "You flatter me. Life King, do you think I can be a lord in Destiny Royal Court? Your Ji Yao is looking for a husband. Why don't she look for me instead? Picking up a fool and a royal court for nothing. No matter how you look at it, it's worth it." The Life King smiled faintly. "Do you dare to come?" Fang Ping thought for a moment, then grinned. "No, but if you're dead, I'll dare to come. Why don't you fulfill my wish? After you're dead, I'll go over to your side and play as a lord for a few days." The Life King smiled faintly. The next moment, he spoke to Qi Huanyu telepathically, his voice cold. "Kill him. If you don't kill him this time, you don't have to come back. This person is getting stronger the more he fights. He's not far from becoming a true king now." "Yes." "That's not what I want to hear. Remember, even if you can't get the Demon Emperor's relic, you must kill him. The Demon Emperor's relic is only being sent out of the royal battleground through your hands. You'll decide later. Even if Fang Ping snatches it away, it's not a big deal. But if he really hides in the Sanjiao Gate," the Life King was suddenly angry. He said, quickly, "Then don't give him the chance." "Trash. There are more than 500 general martial artists in Divine Continent this time. You've already lost your confidence before even entering." The Life King did not know what to say. More than 500 powerhouses, and a powerhouse like Qi Huanyu. Not only Qi Huanyu, there was also a catacombs powerhouse in the top 10 of the Fengyan list. Under such circumstances, Qi Huanyu was actually thinking that Fang Ping had obtained the treasure and hidden it in the Sanjiao Gate. For a moment, the Life King was in a daze. He himself had subconsciously thought that Fang Ping might really snatch it away. Why did he have such a thought? When the divine continent powerhouses fought with Fang Ping, they never seemed to gain the upper hand, no matter how many people there were. Zhang Tao and the rest could only resist the pressure from the true kings. Zhang Tao and the rest would not interfere with those below the true king level. Under such circumstances, they actually failed time and time again. It made one speechless. Beyond Avalon and overseas immortal islands can join forces. Remember, all parties will not let the resurrected martial artists become stronger. This is a consensus. Remember this, and you'll be in an invincible position. Qi Huanyu's expression changed slightly. A consensus? The Life King was unwilling to say more. Yes, a consensus. The land of rebirth should not be this strong. It could not be this strong. If the seed of rebirth was in the body of the resurrected martial artists, if it was too strong, how would it end in the end? Some saw through it, some did not. As for whether Fang Ping and the rest understood it, that was their business. Enter. A low bellow reverberated through the clouds. Powerhouses from all parties stepped into the passageway quickly. Fang Ping was not in a hurry. He kept the Sky Temple and walked toward the rank 8 passageway entrance, chuckling. Is anyone coming with me? I've already cleared the rank 6 and rank 7 regions. This time I'll clear all the rank 8 and rank 9 regions. Is anyone coming with me? No one answered. Luo Yu took the lead and walked straight into the rank 6 region. Before he entered, he glanced at Fang Ping and disappeared quickly. Gu Qing led his people into the rank 7 region and glanced at Fang Ping too. Qi Huanyu did not say a word. He led his people straight into the rank 9 region. Fang Ping sighed. With his back facing Zhang Tao, he waved his hand and said, "Wait to get the treasure. Remember to come out and send us away safely. Otherwise, these old guys will definitely kill me." Before Zhang Tao could reply, Fang Ping had already stepped into the passageway. Seeing this scene, Zhang Tao laughed and shook his head in the sky. This kid is getting more and more arrogant. It's not a good thing. I hope he suffers some losses and gets seriously injured. It'll be enough to kill 300 to 500 rank 9 in the catacombs. No one paid attention to him. They were used to Zhang Tao's style. After the people below entered the passageway one after another, everyone quieted down. Everyone stared at the place where the 2 kings fought without saying a word. They had gone in. When would the second king come out? At this moment, a giant monument descended with a loud rumble. Alas, this time, so many heroes have lost their lives here. Pitiful, lamentable, pathetic. In the void, someone wailed sorrowfully. Taoist Fengyun is here to send everyone off. An old voice rang out, and a phantom figure suddenly appeared. The shadow was incomparably illusory, standing tall on the stone monument. Behind him floated countless shadows of coffins. Heroes throughout the ages, all buried here. The illusory shadow looked around, saying in a pitiful tone, 9 emperors for heavenly emperors, ancient emperors, true gods of the 3 realms, origin heroes, golden-bodied god-fiends. All of them deserve to leave their names in history. How can they die without a name? At this moment, everyone looked at the shadow and the coffins behind it. On top of the coffins, names appeared one by one. Every coffin had a name. The coffins were densely packed. They could not even see them all. Tomb of War, Tomb of Destruction, Tomb of Tyrant. One by one, the names of ancient powerhouses appeared. Whether they were alive or dead, they all had their names. Tomb of Martial King Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao saw his own name and smiled. He looked at the shadow and said lightly, acting mysterious, "Why don't I dare to come and take a look? How about I have a good chat with you? Why do you have to be like this, Martial King? I'm just a corpse collector." Taoist Fengyun's tone became even more pitiful. How many heroes died without a name? Isn't that sad? The rise of many heroes was buried in the depths of time. Since ancient times, how many powerhouses know about them? Only Fengyun left his name. With that, the stone monument erupted with a brilliant light and names appeared one by one. 3 realms honor roll. Taoist Feng Yin. At this moment, the eyes of the powerhouses in the surroundings shone brightly. The void shattered as they looked at the shadow. Waves of mental energy probed from all directions, searching for the real body. Taoist Feng Yin had actually appeared. Was he alone or a faction? Acting mysterious, someone harumphed coldly and slapped out, wanting to kill the shadow and shatter the stone monument. Right at this moment, Heavenly King Suppressing waved his hand lightly and shattered the giant palm. He said indifferently, "It's good to take a look. The people on this side have replicated the heavenly peeking mirror and are probably spying on the battlefield. I also want to see who will live and who will die. Heavenly King, you have a good eye." The shadow praised and still seemed to be crying and laughing at the same time. Heavenly King Suppressing glanced at the shadow and said indifferently, "It's been so many years. I've killed many of your true gods, and you still dare to act big in front of me? Listen to me and stop messing around. Just watch the show. Otherwise, I don't mind flipping through the 3 realms to see where the rat hole is." With that said, the place quieted down once more. Taoist Feng Yin chuckled inaudibly and quickly fell silent. P.S. Number 1. Please get a guaranteed monthly ticket. Thanks. M. Chapter 946. Rank 8 Territory. Asterisk Sui Ming Xiao Shua. Asterisk Fang Ping, and the rest stepped into the passageway. As soon as they entered, heaven and earth roared. In the sky, the chaos origin surged. However, compared to before, it was less oppressive. It was Old Man Li and the rest's first time here. It was a little novel. They looked up at the sky. The wind was blowing, the clouds were surging, and the world was changing. The scenery in front of them kept changing. As soon as they entered, there were mountains first, followed by lakes, then wastelands. Everyone was dazzled by what they saw. The terrain was changing. Old Man Li grabbed a handful of lake water. Then his expression changed slightly. "It's real." He thought it was an illusion. He did not expect it to be real. Fang Ping said it's real. The rules of heaven and earth here are different. It wasn't like this in the past. The changes would have a time interval. Now, it might be because there are too many of us, causing the speed of the changes to accelerate. Old Man Li did not ask any more. Instead, he sent a voice transmission. "Where are Wang Jinyang and the rest?" Previously, Fang Ping said that Wang Jinyang and the rest would come. However, they had not seen them since they entered. "I don't know, but it's okay. If they can make it in time, they can follow behind. If they can't, it doesn't matter." Fang Ping indeed did not know where those guys had gone. They had agreed to meet at the Imperial battleground. However, Fang Ping did not see them when he came here. He did not know if they were delayed by some danger. As they spoke, Ling Xiao suddenly reached out and grabbed in the crowd. With this grab, a gatehouse that was flying past in front of them was directly caught in her hand. Still running. Ling Xiao giggled. She was wearing pink leather boots. Suddenly, she stomped on the ground, causing the ground to tremble. With this tremble, the rapidly changing scenery suddenly stopped. Ling Xiao grabbed the gatehouse, took a look and giggled. It seems to be the gatehouse of the Heaven's Mandate Army's commander. Heaven's Mandate Army's commander? Fang Ping was surprised and a little puzzled. Ling Xiao giggled. Those 2 fellows are the few remaining Emperor-level Hall masters of the Earth Emperor God dynasty. They gathered the defeated soldiers of the Earth Emperor God dynasty here. There are hundreds of true God powerhouses under their command. Don't tell me you think that the war that year was only against these 2 people? Fang Ping understood and smiled. So, the Heaven's Mandate Army and the Tianji Army were here back then? Not bad. Ling Xiao said with a smile. They call themselves Heaven Fate King and Heaven Plant King. They want to get rid of the influence of the earthly sovereign. Of course, they won't use the name of the earthly sovereign divine court. Ling Xiao casually smashed the gate and looked up at the sky. The clouds in the sky surged. It wasn't the clouds, but the chaos origin. She was not the only one looking up. At this moment, many people were looking up at the sky. As they watched, Jiang Kuei suddenly let out a low roar, and a spear shot out. The spear glowed with a dazzling light and pierced through a demon beast that was flying towards him. Roar! The demonic beast that had been pierced through didn't die. It let out a tyrannical roar like a crazed demon, and in the next second, it charged forward and exploded. Blood splattered everywhere. In the crowd, Jiang Yuanhua growled, "Be careful! Something was wrong. This place is not like this." Fang Ping also said in a low voice, "Something's wrong. When the terrain changes, living things will not be moved." But that demonic beast just now moved along with the terrain. Thinking of this, Fang Ping roared, "Everyone stay alert. We might be moved and scattered. If it's not a change in the rules, then the two kings are trying to take us down one by one." Changed. The rules had changed. In the past, the changes in the scenery would not cause people to move, but now the demon beasts were actually being moved. This was the problem. Fang Ping was slightly glad that he was not in the same territory as the others. Otherwise, if they were scattered, there might be big trouble. As he thought about it, Fang Ping's expression changed drastically. Attention! The territory passageways in the King battlefield might have been broken. We might encounter powerhouses from all sides at any time. As soon as he said that, Jiang Yuanhua also reacted and said hurriedly, "The territory walls were set up later. The King battlefield originally didn't have these territory walls. Now that the rules have changed, the territory walls might be broken. Everyone, we are now in the same territory as the others." At this moment, many people were nervous. Before entering the rank 8 territory alone, many people were still relatively at ease. At least they had time to familiarize themselves with the environment before entering the rank 9 territory to fight. But now they might actually be moved and separated from the main group. If they fell into the other camps like the demon beast just now, they would die without a doubt. Jiang Yuanhua was shouting. In the crowd, Ling Xiao, Wu Quishan, Wu Chuan, and Jiang Kuei attacked one after another. Boom! There was a loud noise and the ground collapsed. An after-image flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye along with the changing scenery. "Corpse puppets," Jiang Kuei said solemnly. "It really is the second king. Puppets made from the corpses of true god-level powerhouses. The second king can control the terrain here, making these corpse puppets change with the terrain and attack suddenly. There's no aura, no vitality." Fang Ping also stared in the direction where the shadow disappeared. After a while he said, "How many true god-level powerhouses died in the battle back then?" Jiang Kuei's breathing was slightly rapid. Ling Xiao was still smiling, saying with a grin, "Close to 1,000. "How many? Almost 1,000, right?" Ling Xiao grinned. "Which of the 108 blessed grotto heavens doesn't have a true god? This is still a blessed grotto heavens. Back then there were some big sections. Although they weren't part of the blessed grotto heavens, they still had true gods in charge. Including the remnants of the earthly emperor god dynasty, there were hundreds of true gods, more than 1,000 true gods, but almost all of them died in that battle. Close to 1,000, I guess. Phew! Their breathing suddenly became heavy. Close to 1,000. This was more than they expected. Back then, so many powerhouses had died here. It was unbelievable. With so many true kings outside just now, it was already suffocating. They did not expect that the number of people who died in that battle back then was more than all the powerhouses now. How many corpses are left here? Who knows? Ling Xiao stepped on the ground. There was a bloody pit on the ground left by the shadow earlier. As she stepped on it, the pink boots became brighter. This scene made many people's scalps go numb. This woman was having fun. But it should be known that this was blood. No one was afraid of killing people. but they would not deliberately step on these bloody pits for no reason. Pervert! Someone cursed in his heart. Mount Wangwu's Ling Shao, the third-generation chief of Mount Wangwu, was also someone feared by everyone back then. Now that they met again, even if they had not met back then, they had some understanding now. Ling Shao did not seem to notice this. She continued to step on the bloody pit, grinning. But there must be quite a lot, at least half. The remaining half is probably in the space battlefield. Wu Quishan ignored her, saying quickly, "This corpse's golden body is comparable to an 8-refinement powerhouse. 8-refinement golden body. Pure physical strength already has 140,000 calories vitality, has rank, 9 combat strength." This was just a corpse, but the other party was a true god. Even if a true god powerhouse advanced from a 6th refinement golden body back then, when they reached true god, they could also be comparable to an 8-refinement golden body. Now that he was dead, he could not control celestiality, no mentality, only relying on his physical body to fight. Even so, he would not be weaker than some 3rd stage or 4th stage origin powerhouses. Wu Chuan also said immediately, "The strength is acceptable. The key is that these corpses move with the terrain, missing a hit, disappearing quickly. It's fine if we have a lot of people. Once we split up, we'll be fine, but the others will be in trouble." As soon as he entered the king's battlefield, Fang Ping realized that trouble was coming. This place was completely different from before. The terrain was changing, people were changing, powerhouse corpses were also appearing. The key thing was, were there still people alive? Fang Ping thought of this, saying in a low voice, "In the battle back then, did all the powerhouses under the 2 kings die? After all, this is where the imperial palace is. Where are the servants? What about Destiny, Skyplant Corps?" Jiang Kuei looked around vigilantly, saying in a low voice, "I'm not sure. The battle back then was tragic. Most of them should have died, not excluding the possibility that some are still alive. The dead are easier to deal with. The living are the troublesome ones." Fang Ping murmured, and then said, as if he was talking in his sleep, "The key is that the various forces are mixed, the hearts of the people are not united. When they encounter each other, it's fine if there are more people. But if there are less people, I'm afraid that a battle will break out at the Night Butterfly. The 2 kings are so calculative if they can really be controlled at will. Maybe we can meet our opponents very soon. They probably can't be controlled at will, only guided." Ling Shao said with a grin, "Otherwise, to control such a large area, they must use their origin. Once the 2 kings' origin is activated, the graveyard of gods will collapse on itself." Fang Ping said calmly, "Everything you guys said is based on a situation where the 2 kings have not recovered, so they won't move recklessly. But what if they have recovered long ago? Maybe this time they will take advantage of the situation and kill some people." Without waiting for their reply, Fang Ping took a step out, saying, "Let's go, advance toward the central area." Everyone did not move. Behind, Jiang Yuanhua coughed softly, saying, "Go west, you're going toward the rank 7 region." Fang Ping said calmly, "I know, I want to talk to Guqing first. Maybe we can work together." Everyone did not know whether it was true or not, so they did not say anything. Fang Ping turned his head quickly, frowning slightly, saying, "It's so chaotic now. Even if we go to the rank 7 region, we might not meet them. Let's go to the rank 9 region first. Everyone will rush there." Ling Shao looked at him, strangely, giggling. "Don't tell me you don't know the way?" Fang Ping glanced at her, smiling. "Little girl, don't talk nonsense. Talking nonsense will kill people." As he said that, he raised his eyebrows. "I forgot to ask you, you're a few thousand years old?" Ling Zhao's smile slowly stiffened, her voice lowered. "Little brother, asking nonsense will also kill people." Fang Ping shrugged. Indeed, age was a woman's natural enemy. A few thousand years old hag did not mind being called little girl at all. If he asked her age, she would immediately turn hostile. As Fang Ping walked, he looked around vigilantly. staring at Ling Xiao and the others at the same time. After a few steps, Fong Ping smiled again. "Little girl, are there many powerhouses at Mount Wangu?" "Many." "How many emperor level?" "More than 10. What about true gods?" "A few hundred." "Are you bluffing?" "Yes." Fong Ping grinned. Naughty. Children were really naughty. Forget it. He would not argue with this old hag's child. As they walked, Xianhua suddenly made a move, grabbing the tail of a monster beside him. This monster roared madly, a little scared. In that moment just now, it was almost teleported away. At the same time, the powerhouses in the crowd made their moves. Some people and monsters, their figures became a little illusory, almost teleported away. "Humph!" Jiang Yan snorted coldly, shouting, "Set up a spiritual consciousness array. Seal the area!" As soon as he said that, many powerhouses of Weiyu Mountain unleashed their mentality. Waves of mentality spread in all directions. Fong Ping and the rest seemed to be covered with a layer of thin film. The constantly changing scenery suddenly stopped. Outside the thin film, the world was still changing rapidly. Inside the thin film, everyone felt different. Right now, they were stepping on a piece of yellow land. It had not changed. Seeing that, Jiang Kuei also breathed a sigh of relief, saying in a low voice, "The changes here are related to the origin. The great Tao is mixed. Only spiritual consciousness and consciousness can suppress this kind of change. If everyone doesn't want to be separated, then take turns to seal the area." Fong Ping smiled. "All right. Next, everyone will take turns. If we don't separate, we are still one force. If we separate and encounter the hundreds of rank 9s in the catacombs, we will all be waiting for death." Everyone did not say much. Everyone gathered together because there was strength in numbers. If they separated now, then all their previous preparations would be in vain. While Fong Ping and the rest were sealing the area and heading toward the core area, rank 6 territory, Luo Yu's white robe was as white as snow. He used a handkerchief to gently wipe the bloodstains on his hands, glancing at the broken corpse pieces on the ground, smiling. "True God corpse puppets. Everyone be careful. The true God corpse puppets have the strength of origin stage 3 to 5. This is still manageable. Emperor-level corpse puppets have the strength of origin stage. This time, not all of the overseas 33 immortal islands were here. However, there were more than 200 rank 9 powerhouses gathered here at this moment. Other than Luo Yu, there were also some other outstanding powerhouses. For example, a green water buffalo, Wu Qi, ranked 21st on the feng shui list. For example, the gorgeous lady with snow-white skin who was talking to Luo Yu earlier. Immortal Inquiry Island's direct descendant, Yu Wu Hua, ranked 14th on the feng shui list. Overseas immortal islands had many powerhouses. Humans and demons were a mix, and the demons in the Forbidden Sea were stronger. Other than Wu Qi, there were also a few monsters that were also handsome and extraordinary with powerful auras. After Luo Yu finished speaking, Wu Qi's mentality fluctuated as if he was really speaking. "I am not afraid of these corpse puppets. Luo Yu, do you have the confidence to deal with Qi Huanyu and the rest?" And Fong Ping. As soon as he said that, someone from the same sect behind Luo Yu said, "Senior Luo, ranked 8th on the feng shui list. Qi Huanyu is indeed very strong, but it is not impossible for Senior Luo to defeat him." Not to mention Fong Ping, Wu Qi's eyes widened, looking a little fierce. "All right, if we meet Fong Ping's side, once we fight, Fong Ping and Li Chongxing will be yours. I will deal with Wu Chuan or Wu Quishan." Wu Qi cursed in his heart. "Just wait for your deaths." Fong Ping's ranking was not high, at least not as high as theirs. Wu Quishan and Wu Chuan's ranking was higher than Fong Ping's. But who was the powerhouse that died in the Emperor's tomb that day? Li Chongxing's opponent, Fong Ping's opponent. These two were the savage ones. As for the others, their combat strength was not weak, but at least they were not at the level where they could kill powerhouses of the same rank. Luo Yu chuckled. We'll see. Besides, we might not fight. Do you believe it yourself? Wu Qi said disdainfully, Forget about them. Even we will fall out with them when we get the treasure in the end. Prince Wu Qi, why do you want to boost others' morale and diminish your own? Someone laughed. The human martial artists are not the strongest party this time. The earthly Emperor God dynasty is more dangerous. You guys! While they were talking, Luo Yu's expression changed. At this moment, in front of them, a powerhouse was floating in the air, unaffected by the terrain. He ignored them, looked around, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Zhao Xingwu, Wu Qi said in surprise. Why is he here? He did not see Zhao Xingwu earlier, so he thought this guy did not come. Not only did he come, but he came alone. Who was he looking for? He's Zhao Xingwu. Luo Yu looked in the direction where the old man left, raising his brows slightly. Very strong, but the human martial artists are all very arrogant. If we had attacked just now, we could have kept him here. With so many rank 9s, there was a chance to kill a weak true god. No, the chance was very high. Zhao Xingwu was not a true god, but he dared to ignore them. If not for the fact that they did not want to fight such a powerhouse as soon as they entered, Zhao Xingwu's attitude would have angered them. The otherworldly lady, Yu Wuhua, chuckled. This person seems to be looking for something. What is he looking for? I don't know. Luo Yu shook his head slightly and said with a smile, Ignore him. We have never been to the graveyard of the gods and are not familiar with this place. Familiarize yourself with this place as soon as possible to avoid unnecessary damage. The graveyard of the gods was created by a blessed grotto heaven, and beyond Avalon and the overseas immortal islands mainly participated in the battle that destroyed the earthly Emperor God dynasty. The main battlefields of both sides were different. Rank 7 region. Gu Qing and the rest were also familiarizing themselves with the environment. In the crowd, someone said regretfully, It's a pity that Chong Rong Tian is blocked. Otherwise, Chong Rong Tian also has a few powerhouses here. If Chong Shan Qi comes, our side will be stronger. Chong Shan Qi, ranked very high on the wind cloud list, was also a top powerhouse. It was a pity that Heavenly Emperor Dragon Transforming blocked his way this time and could not come. Gu Qing squatted on the ground, pinched a handful of soil, and said coolly, No rush, he will come. Heavenly Emperor, Dragon Transforming, will come too. I saw Wang Ruobing arrive. This place is full of true gods and venerable emperors. With Heavenly Emperor Dragon Transforming's personality, he will not come. Once Heavenly Emperor Dragon Transforming leaves, Venerable Emperor Changrong will definitely not miss this opportunity. As soon as he said this, a silver-haired old woman laughed. Venerable Emperor Changrong, sigh. Venerable emperors were not easy to discuss, but Venerable Emperor Changrong was really looking for trouble, provoking Heavenly Emperor Dragon Transforming. This venerable emperor who was about to fall, was this not asking for trouble? Gu Qing was unwilling to discuss venerable emperors. He looked at the silver-haired old woman. The silver-haired old woman came from a blessed grotto heaven. Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven. The old woman was also a powerhouse in the top 30 of the wind cloud list. She was also very powerful. Gu Qing did not look at her much. Instead, he looked at the green-clothed woman beside her. Like Gu Qing, she was also dressed in green. Her clothes were simple. Her eyes were big and very bright. Her strength was indeed ordinary. Middle stage rank 7. In this place where rank 9s gathered, there were almost no rank 7 martial artists. Even on Fangping's side, there was only one peak rank 7, Wang Ruobing. Seeing Gu Qing look over, the green-clothed woman nodded slightly. Gu Qing also nodded slightly, and then said softly, Fellow Yunping, be careful later. Fellow Yang's strength is too weak. If you really can't do it, Leave the graveyard of gods as soon as possible. He was easy to talk to, but some were not. In the crowd, a huge brawny man said with a thunderous voice, "Is there no one on Mount Amay? How dare a mere illuminating god martial artist bring him here? He died in vain." The green-clothed woman was Yang Jingjing. Yang Jingjing bowed slightly and said, "It was I who begged Master to bring me here. Although I'm weak, I come from Star Town's Yang family and am the current head of the Yang family. Although the Yang family has declined, they have settled in Star Town for 300 years. Powerhouses like Su Yunfei and Zhou Xinghe are my seniors. If we encounter people from Star Town, I can say a thing or two." Humph. Some people were disdainful, but Yang Jingjing was not angry. She said softly, "I came to the battleground to find my brother's corpse. As for other things, I have no other request." The old woman also said slowly, "Brother Jingjing died here. The Yang family has also explored this place for many years, so they know more than we do. Everyone, please don't take it to heart." Everyone said no more. Gu Qing stood up and looked in the direction of the rank 8 region. He said softly, "I heard that the Yang family has a grudge with Fang Ping and the others. The previous head of the Yang family died at the hands of the longevity sword. Although fellow Yang entered with us, I hope you can control your personal grudge." Yang Jingjing pursed her lips and gritted her teeth. After a while she said, "I won't bring any trouble to you. That's for the best." Gu Qing smiled and said, "Let's go. I'm afraid it'll be dangerous if we stay here any longer." After saying that, he walked forward. They had just walked about 100 meters when more than 10 hands suddenly extended from the ground where they stopped. They grabbed at thin air and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Everyone was shocked and looked at Gu Qing. Did he sense it in advance or did he judge it? Gu Qing didn't say anything and continued forward. They did not encounter too many dangers along the way. Most of the time, danger would appear as soon as they passed by. The 6th, 7th, and 8th regions were not particularly dangerous. In the rank 9 region, some people were separated as soon as Qi Huanyu and the others entered. The terrain here changed faster, and the pulling force was stronger. A few rank 9s were led away almost without being able to fight back. Very soon, a loud boom was heard. Screams could be heard from afar. Someone had died. Qi Huanyu's expression was the same as usual. He swept his spear, and the void shook. The terrain that changed earlier also slowed down. The entrance to the space battlefield is in the depths. Don't enter recklessly, and don't fight with the remnants of the Second Kings. We'll take the initiative and watch from the sidelines." Qi Huanyu said, and said in a low voice, "I'll leave later and look for opportunities to kill the powerhouses from all sides. Be careful and don't act rashly." "Temple Master, we'll go with you." "There's no need. Too many people will be a hindrance." Qi Huanyu said, coldly, "This place is extremely chaotic. It's dangerous, but it's also an opportunity. As long as someone is teleported out of the crowd, I can kill them." Having said that, Qi Huanyu's spear pierced through the air and pierced through a corpse puppet that suddenly appeared in the void. With a loud boom, the corpse puppet exploded. Qi Huanyu snorted softly and said in a low voice, "Be careful. At this time, the 4 major courts are united and must not fight among themselves. As long as we don't panic, the other parties won't dare to provoke us. Among the 500 rank 9 powerhouses, no one was stronger than them. Even if the other 3 parties joined forces, Divine Land could still fight them." Everyone agreed. Even if there were powerhouses from the other 3 major courts present, no one questioned him at this moment. Qi Huanyu, number 1 on the Wind Cloud list, was the strongest powerhouse who entered Divine Land this time. Powerhouses like Kong Lingyuan and Li Changxing were counting on him to deal with them. Chapter 947. All parties entered. In the depths of the battlefield, a huge palace had fallen to the ground. The palace was a bit dilapidated, and half of it had fallen deep into the ground. Several stone statues, stood outside the huge gate of the palace. This place had been silent for thousands of years, but today there was a slight movement. Creak! The ear-piercing sound of the palace gate opening broke the silence. Crack! Crack! The orderly footsteps made the sound of glass shattering on the ground. A group of soldiers who seemed to have crawled out of a grave were wearing standard armor. Some of their armors had long been broken, and the blood on them had yet to dry. But at this moment, this group of corpse-like soldiers had an earth-shattering aura. "We've come back to life." A murmur came from the mouth of the leading golden-armored powerhouse. Golden and red armors, two colors of armor. The red armors seemed to be soldiers, and there were nearly 100 of them. There were 5 or 6 golden-armored powerhouses, whether they were commanders or captains. This group of 100 soldiers walked out of the palace in an orderly manner. The next moment they all turned around. The 5 or 6 golden-armored powerhouses knelt on the ground, and the red-armored soldiers behind them also knelt on one knee. "King, I will be the king. Retrieve the enemy leader's head and take back the treasure." The palace was extremely quiet. A moment later, an ancient voice was heard. "Millions of divine court soldiers, the world has changed, and now only you survive. Can you live until that day?" Among the golden-armored powerhouses, the person at the front raised his head and revealed his face. It was an extremely handsome young man. The man leaned his spear on the ground and said in a loud voice, "We dare to fight for the king." The army of the divine court realm conquers the 3 realms and is invincible. If we die, we are willing to leave our names in the divine court. A roar resounded through the sky. The soldiers behind him all shouted in unison, "We are willing to die for the king." The palace was silent again. A moment later, another voice came from the palace. "Go and kill the enemy. The glory of the divine continent remains. With the blood of everyone, witness our return." "Yes." The golden-armored young man answered loudly and stood up. He pulled out the spear in his hand, and with a drop of blood fell to the ground. The blood fell to the ground, and the drop of blood sunk into the ground. Scarlet blood, the blood of a true god powerhouse on the verge of death. This spear had killed a true god. The golden-armored man turned around. His eyes were scarlet, and a bloody light towered into the sky. "Follow this general to kill the enemy. Kill." There were only 100 of them, but at this moment they were like an army of millions. Their killing intent shook the heavens, and even the sky was dyed blood-red. The soldiers pointed their spears at the sky. The clouds churned, looking like they would erupt in the next moment. "Move out!" The golden-armored youth roared again. "Kacha! Kacha! Kacha!" sounds rang out once more, like the footsteps of a person. The pace of the 100 people was not fast, but every step they took covered several hundred meters. As soon as the 100 people passed by, the stone statues behind them suddenly moved. As if the stone statues had come to life, the statues marched forward in an orderly manner, slowly joining the group in front of them. The group of 100 people and more than 10 statues disappeared from the palace in the blink of an eye. In the palace, in the depths, a voice rang out. "What do you think?" "Yes, experts from the outside world, what do you think?" "Kill. Kill some of them, and then we'll talk." "All right." The voices gradually died down, and soon the huge palace regained its deathly stillness. Boom! A deafening sound rang out. Fang Ping threw a punch, smashing a true god's corpse puppet into 2. Looking at the 2 halves of the corpse that were still struggling to attack, he frowned slightly. "What the hell is this?" Another punch blasted out, blasting the other's skull. Fang Ping tilted his head and looked at Jiang Yuanhua, saying, "Old Jiang, didn't you say that corpses comparable to paragons appeared back then? But this thing only has the strength of 3rd or 4th stage origin. Does that mean there are others?" Jiang Yuanhua's expression was solemn. "In the depths. There is a palace in the depths, and there are many stone statues outside the palace. They are not stone statues, but the corpses of powerhouses. Back then, we thought they were ordinary paragons' corpses. Now that I think about it, they should be the corpses of emperor-level powerhouses. Moreover, they are quite well preserved, and their strength is extremely strong, easily killing a large number of weak, rank 9 martial artists. At that time, we thought they had the strength of Desperate Realm. Now that I think about it, they should not have reached Desperate Realm, but they at least have the strength of 8th or 9th stage origin. At this time, Su Haran also added, "Don't be careless. You might be able to deal with 8th or 9th stage origin, but these corpses are not normal. They must have been refined by someone using special methods, very difficult to destroy. Once you can't destroy them, they are invincible." The corpses were already dead. Since they were dead, some ordinary methods would be useless. They must destroy the corpses. Only then could they get rid of these emperor corpses. After they finished speaking, Jiang Kuei said lightly, "There's one more thing. I want to remind everyone. Although the chaos origin law here has weakened somewhat, it still has an effect on us. It is fine to use a little of the origin. But if we use it at full strength, it may trigger the chaos origin to attack us." As soon as he said this, Fang Ping's eyes lit up. "Really? That's right." Fang Ping suddenly bared his teeth, grinning. "In that case, if you guys go all out, there is a possibility of being attacked by the chaos origin?" "That's right." As Jiang Kuei said this, he seemed to be a little hesitant. He glanced at Fang Ping, his gaze a little strange. "Someone did not enter the origin." "Ha ha ha." Fang Ping suddenly burst out laughing. "In that case, perhaps he was the strongest here?" "Soon," Fang Ping asked, "how much can we use?" Jiang Kuei did not say anything, but Wu Quishan chuckled. "Fortunately, it's not too restrictive. It's not a problem to use 80 to 90% of our strength. Even if we go all out, it should be fine. But if it takes too long, we may attract the Chaos Origin's attention." "How long is a long time?" Wu Quishan judged, thinking for a while before saying, "About 3 minutes. Actually, it won't affect us much. 3 minutes is enough for us to kill our opponents." 3 minutes. Fang Ping's eyes lit up. "Great. In that case, after 3 minutes, even Qi Huanyu would not be able to use the origin anymore, at least for a period of time, so that the Chaos Origin would not pay attention to him." Would Fang Ping be afraid of them if he could not use the origin? No. Even if he could use it, he might not be afraid. "Let's go. Quickly enter the rank 9 region and kill the enemies." Fang Ping roared, leaping into the air, heading straight for the rank 9 region. Jiang Kuei frowned slightly and shouted in a low voice, "Fang Ping, we are here for the earthly emperor's relic, not to kill the enemies." "Wrong, the relic is secondary. Killing the enemies is the key." "Stupid. If we kill all the enemies who will fight with us, kill these corpses first, then kill the people from the catacombs. If the outland and overseas immortal islands are obedient, then so be it. If not, kill them all." Jiang Kuei wanted to curse. "Mother *** cur. Where does your confidence come from? There's so many powerhouses and you killed them all? Are you a true god? Even if you are, you might be surrounded and killed if you encounter so many powerhouses. You're bold, little brother. I'll go with you." Behind him, Ling Xiao chuckled, looking extremely enthusiastic. Fang Ping smiled too. "Let's go together then." Both of them did not say much, hurrying forward quickly. The others saw this helplessly and could only follow along. These lunatics always felt that things would not go so smoothly this time. Rank 9 region. The battle broke out instantly. It was not Fang Ping and the others who arrived. A group of catacombs powerhouses who were teleported out, about 20 rank 9 powerhouses, encountered the divine court soldiers who had just rushed over from the imperial palace. Hundreds of people, not a word. No one spoke. The murderous aura, however, shot straight to the sky, creating waves of air. The blood-red spears were drawn in a uniform manner. The sky, the ground, and all directions were filled with spears. The powerhouses who were surrounded in the center had nowhere to run. The few powerhouses on the periphery unleashed their golden bodies, mentality, and even their origin Tao. However, the spears pressed forward, destroying everything, killing gods and Buddhas. Their mentality was crushed and their energy was destroyed. The blood-red spears pierced through a few people in the blink of an eye. The moment they pierced through a few people, the spears were pulled out in the next moment. A group of red-armored soldiers retreated, the connection seamless. Behind them, the second group of red-armored soldiers pierced through the original wounds again. A few golden-armored powerhouses stood proudly in the void. They did not intervene, nor did they look at these people. Instead, they looked at the other parties. 100 against 20. It was too easy to kill. These people were the oldest divine court army. The divine court army during the era of the earthly emperor god dynasty. Later, when the earthly emperor god dynasty was destroyed, they followed the two kings and escaped here. After that, they went on an endless campaign against the sects, against the grandmasters, against the overseas immortal islands. They were the real heroes of hundreds of battles. Among the million-strong divine court army, there were only a few who survived. Everyone was a rank 9. In the past, non-rank 9s and high ranks could join the divine court army. However, after so many years of fighting, the weak ones were long dead. Ah! Screams came from below. In the blink of an eye, a few rank 9s were killed. Their golden bodies exploded, their mentality destroyed, and they died completely. The golden-armored young man frowned slightly, saying softly, "Divine court army?" The people who were killed wore divine court army armor, similar to them but also different. Beside the golden-armored man, someone said indifferently, "The current divine court army, they don't have the right to use the name of divine court or divine plant." The golden-armored man nodded slightly, then smiled and said, "Since you've used it, then use it." The two kings have decided to start all over again. From now on, we will return to our original name, Divine Court Army. "Yes, sir," the others responded. As soon as they finished speaking, the battle below came to an end. 30 seconds. 20 rank 9s were killed. None of the hundreds of armored soldiers died. Even the last few, who self-destructed, were neutralized by the others. Although there were many of them, their combat strength was also terrifyingly strong. The golden-armored man did not look too long. A jade card appeared in his hand, like a mirror, with countless red dots scattered on it. It was mainly divided into 4 parts. The red dots were strong and weak. The strong red dots seemed to be jumping out of the mirror, while the weak ones were dim. The golden-armored man looked at 2 of them. They were both lone red dots. "Very strong." The golden-armored man gave a rare compliment, looking at the red dot near the rank 6 region. After a while, he quickly turned to the red, moving toward the rank 8 region, saying slowly, "Is this person hunting?" "Should be." The golden-armored young man pondered for a moment, then said softly, "Surround and kill the lone person first. Then kill. 4 sides. Rank 9 region, catacombs powerhouses. Rank 8 region, human side. Rank 7 region, outland and boundaries land. Rank 6 region, overseas immortal island." Among the 4 sides, except for the catacombs, the other 3 sides had about the same number of people. The young man looked for a while, then suddenly pointed at the rank 8 region. This place was the closest. "Kill everyone here. Wipe them out one by one." "Yes, sir." As the young man spoke, the people below had already cleaned up the battlefield. There were no divine weapons or storage rings. The so-called cleaning up the battlefield was to completely destroy the mentality of all the people who died in the battle and destroy their golden bodies. This was to prevent these people from dying. The red dots here had already disappeared from the mirror. The young man looked at the 2 powerful red dots again. After thinking about it, He did not choose to surround and kill them now. Lone powerhouses were not that easy to kill. With fewer people, there was more mobility. Moreover, these two people were stronger, and it was easy to sense their presence. Let the corpse puppets continue to harass. Disperse and harass all directions. We will gather our forces and kill the enemies. Yes, sir. The young man calmly assigned tasks in an orderly manner. This was just a small matter. In the battle that destroyed the Earth Emperor God dynasty, almost all 22 outlands and 33 overseas immortal islands participated in the battle. And these were only the remnants now. There were more overseas immortal islands left in the past. At that time, the outlands and overseas immortal islands were at their peak. They were countless times stronger than the current outlands. In that battle, rank 9s were as common as clouds. Although the God Court was breached, they had also completely destroyed these forces. If not, the two kings would not have been able to build a new God Court. The young man observed the route. There were still some small red dots along the way to the rank 8 region. Some people were alone. Clean up along the way. Everyone began to move. Their steps were synchronized, as if the battle had not happened. After they left, there was only a patch of blood left on the ground, bearing witness to the scene just now. 20 rank 9s died in the blink of an eye. Human lives were worthless. The powerful rank 9 powerhouses in the outside world were so fragile at this moment. Outside the Imperial battlefield, there was another stone tablet next to the 3 realms ranking list. The ranking only recorded the top 500 rank 9 powerhouses. This time there were thousands of rank 9 powerhouses who entered. Not all of them were on the ranking list. How many rank 9s were there in the 3 realms? The rank 9s of the 4 imperial halls, including the outer regions, were no less than 5,000. The overseas immortal islands, and these forces added up had a lot of people. Even if the humans were weak, there were about 300 rank 9s today. And these 300 people were the accumulation of dozens of years. There were probably no less than 10,000 rank 9s in the 3 realms. This time, there were more than 1,100 rank 9s who entered. It was also the largest gathering in 1,000 years. Including some rank 8 martial artists, there were about 1,500 people in total. The names of these people were inscribed on the other stone tablet. Just as the golden-armored powerhouse was killing those people, on the stone tablet, close to 20 names that were previously incomparably bright, suddenly extinguished. Humph! A cold snort resounded in all directions. Fate King's eyes were cold. How do you know? Are they really dead? They had only entered for a moment, and the 4 imperial halls had already lost close to 30 powerhouses. The Phantom smiled faintly. Before these people entered, I used the divine peeking mirror replica to scan them. There was a chi reaction. Now that it's extinguished, it means that they no longer have any chi of life. As soon as he said that, Heavenly King, subduing, also chuckled. The divine peeking mirror has this ability. It's hard to say if it's a replica. However, among the people who entered, if they carry a replica, they can make a 2-way reaction. As soon as he said that, everyone looked at the Phantom. In that case, among the rank 9s who entered this time, there were people from this side. Also, there might be more than one person monitoring all sides. The Phantom smiled bitterly. Heavenly King, please understand. However, I have no ill intentions. I just don't want these people to die without a name. As he said that, the number of coffins behind the Phantom seemed to increase. Born without a name, die with a name. Your soul returns to the 3 realms. This life is not in vain. The Phantom muttered a few words. On the coffins behind him, names appeared one by one. Fate King and the others' expressions were extremely ugly. They died too quickly. Who did it? Almost no one from the other sides died. Only the catacombs side had so many people die in a moment. Second King. Everyone's eyes were cold. They were not stupid. The catacombs side entered the rank 9 region. Obviously, they encountered the second king's people. On the ranking list, 500 names were still shining brightly. Obviously, there were no powerhouses on the ranking list among those who died. This made everyone feel a little more at ease. Although the enemy was strong, none of the powerhouses on the ranking list died. This was a good thing. Powerhouses who could enter the ranking list almost all had the strength of level 7 origin. It was a good thing that these people did not die. The powerhouses from all sides quieted down again. Some people closed their eyes to rest. Some people stared at the stone tablet that recorded the people who entered. At this moment, there were sporadic names that dimmed from time to time. High up in the sky, Zhang Tao and the others had also made a tall mountain peak. No one knew where they moved it from. Zhang Tao made a sofa and moved some tables and chairs. He drank tea and said with a smile, "There are no casualties among the humans. It seems that we have not encountered the enemy. Oldly, this divine peeking mirror is quite effective. Do you ancient people like to use high technology too?" The scene was frighteningly quiet. Oldly, Heavenly King, subduing, really wanted to say a few words. After thinking for a long time, he did not know what to say. In the past, Zhang Tao had always addressed him as senior. When did it change to Oldly? Heavenly King, subduing, was silent. He sat down and poured himself a cup of tea. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe he should stay away from these guys. They had only known each other for a few days, and Zhang Tao had changed to Oldly. If they were more familiar with each other, what should they call him? After drinking a cup of tea and suppressing the helplessness in his heart, Heavenly King, subduing, said slowly, "The real divine peeking mirror is not used like this. It's just a small trick. The real divine peeking mirror can see the heavenly Tao. It's in the hands of the cat. It's broken." Heavenly King, subduing, said calmly, "In the past, Heavenly Hound used this to spy on the sovereign, but it was shattered by the sovereign. The current divine peeking mirror no longer has its power." After that, he added, "Most of the divine artifacts today are broken." This was the first time Zhang Tao knew that. The heaven-crushing sword is not broken, but it's not complete, Heavenly King, subduing, added. Zhang Tao raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, "It's with him." "I think so. You're not sure?" Heavenly King, subduing, thought for a while and said, "I'm not sure. The things in their hands don't seem that powerful. I don't know if they're broken or sealed." Zhang Tao smiled and asked again, "How powerful are the 2 kings?" The earthly emperor divine dynasty suppressed the 3 realms in the past, partly because of the remaining power of the earthly emperor, and secondly because of the powerful hall masters. Some of them came from the ancient times, some were from the earthly emperor's faction, and some were disciples of other emperors. They are extremely powerful. The 2 kings, Tianji, Tianming. Speaking of these 2, Heavenly King, subduing, thought for a while and said, "They're smart people." Smart people? Not powerful. They're powerful, but not as powerful as some of the other hall masters. These 2 were smart enough to escape the earthly emperor continent with some defeated troops when the war was in full swing. After that, the other sovereigns were severely injured and couldn't chase after them, so they escaped. What about their specific strength? The current list should be correct. Zhang Tao understood. That meant these 2 were really powerful. They were both ranked higher than him and stronger than Heavenly Emperor Dragon transformation. Zhang Tao looked at Taoist Fengyan and said with a smile, "Oldly, do you know him?" Heavenly King, subduing, didn't want to say anything. After a while, he said in a muffled voice, "I'm not sure. I might have seen him before, but it's just a remnant of mind energy now. I can't tell." On the side were Monarch, and the others grinned and laughed secretly. Oldly seemed to be defeated. They were happy to see this scene. It was good to be defeated. This old man always pretended to be omnipotent and omniscient. Now he knew how powerful he was, right? Heavenly King, subduing, could not be bothered with them. He got up and said, "I'm going to meet some old friends. It won't end so soon." After saying that, Heavenly King Subduing stepped forward and broke through the void, disappearing in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. After he left, the black rift closed instantly. Zhang Tao's eyebrows twitched. It was indeed powerful. Looking at the stone tablet again, Zhang Tao's expression suddenly changed. Someone died. So many people went in and someone died. It was the human side. Who did Fang Ping encounter? With Fang Ping's personality, he would not let people like Wei Yishan die so easily as long as they did not turn against him. Rumble. Fang Ping flew backward, smashing the ground and cracking it. Looking at Qi Huanyu, who had escaped, Fang Ping's face darkened. He stood up from the underground pit and snorted coldly. "Old thing, how dare you sneak attack me? I gave you face, but you don't want it." Fang Ping and the others could not react to the sneak attack of a top-notch powerhouse. The few people at the back were pierced by Qi Huanyu and killed on the spot. They had just entered, but they had already lost a few people before they could kill anything. Fang Ping's expression was frighteningly ugly. Sneak attack. I'm the expert. Fang Ping looked at everyone. Although there were many people, the more people there were, the bigger the target. A top-notch powerhouse like Qi Huanyu could erupt in an instant, sneak attack, and escape in the blink of an eye. It was difficult for them to hold him back. This place was very strange. It was a little similar to the Emperor's tomb. The range of mentality exploration was not large. Fang Ping licked his lips and looked at everyone suddenly. "Everyone, this place is too big of a target. Are you interested in acting as an assassin with me? Maybe we'll have a chance to kill that old thing." He was prepared to lead a group of powerhouses to surround and kill Qi Huanyu. If they did not kill him, they would be at a great disadvantage if this guy continued to sneak attack like this. Everyone looked at each other. Soon, Zhang Kuei and Ling Xiao agreed. Kong Lingyuan and the others wanted to speak too, but Fang Ping calmly stopped them. They were here to protect the others from sneak attacks by powerhouses. As for himself, he could also take the opportunity to explore around and see if there was a chance to stir up trouble. Chapter 948. Fang Ping led a few people and quickly left the group. Meanwhile, the Divine Court Army encountered Qi Huanyu, who had just escaped. Boom! Energy exploded, and the wind and clouds surged. The surrounding scenery was changing at a frightening speed. Qi Huanyu held his spear and frowned as he looked at the golden-armored young man. He said slowly, "You're under the second king's command." The Divine Court Army. The golden-armored young man replied with a solemn expression. This person was extremely powerful. He was a true king in the past. After exchanging blows with the young man, Qi Huanyu made a judgment and said indifferently, "It's a pity that it's been a long time and he's only comparable to a level 10 origin source cultivator." That was all. Even he himself was a level 10 origin source expert. But to him, level 10 origin source seemed very simple. The golden-armored young man remained silent, but Qi Huanyu suddenly struck with his spear, tearing through space and repelling a stone sculpture puppet. Emperor corpse? Qi Huanyu frowned and said he's not weak. Another level 10 origin realm. Furthermore, it was much stronger than ordinary level 10 origin source cultivators. You're not weaker than Zhao Xingwu. The other golden armors probably have the strength of the top 30 on the Wind Cloud leaderboard. On top of that, there was a group of powerful fighters who could be ranked in the top 500 of the Wind Cloud ranking list. They were very powerful. I didn't expect the second king to struggle on his last legs to this day, and still have a group of people alive under him. The young man did not speak, but the soldiers under him moved in an orderly manner. Their footsteps were light, and if one did not look closely, they would not even be able to detect it. But who was Qi Huanyu? The Vice Hall Master of the Destiny Palace led the Destiny Royal Court in battle. Seeing this, he said indifferently, "You don't need to do that in front of this old man." If you want to surround and kill this old man, perhaps you can do it, but not now. It won't be a problem for this old man to hold on until the others sense it. In this way, you'll be exposed to everyone, and only death awaits you. The divine court army does not fear death. It's easy to say that you aren't afraid of death. But aren't you afraid of failing the mission? After saying that, Chi Huanyu said with a faint smile, "There's no need for us to fight right now. We haven't even arrived at the spatial battlefield yet. If we fight now, won't we be benefiting others?" The golden-armored youth looked at him, not saying a word. Chi Huanyu was very powerful. The moment they exchanged blows, he was actually at a slight disadvantage. One had to know that he was a true God realm powerhouse back then. However, after so many years of hibernation, his injuries had yet to heal, and the intrinsic nature of his strength had deteriorated. Even so, he should have been invincible among reciprocity realm experts. But today, someone had really reached the limit. The limit of rank 9. The young man did not know how humans calculated things. Otherwise, he would know that Chi Huanyu's maximum strength was as high as 400,000 calories. In other words, even if the weakest paragon did not use his origin path and had a basic vitality of 200,000 calories, even if there was a qualitative change, he would still be on par with Chi Huanyu. If Zhu Feng entered the king battlefield, he would probably not dare to use his origin Dao. As such, Chi Huanyu had the ability to kill the weak, absolute, pinnacle cultivators here, unless the other party disregarded their own lives and unleashed their source Dao. Even a rank 9 would feel a sense of crisis when he unleashed his origin Dao here. If he unleashed it at the peak, it would definitely trigger an attack from the chaos origin. The stronger it was, the easier it was to trigger. For someone as strong as the two kings, if they used it even a little, it would likely cause their source to be thrown into chaos, and the place where the kings fought would explode. Chi Huanyu tapped his toes lightly and left his original spot instantly. In the blink of an eye, he appeared somewhere else. Without looking at where he had been earlier, he chuckled and said, "I see that you guys are heading to the grade 8 domain to kill the martial artist who had been resurrected." Martial artist who had been resurrected? Or the martial artists from the human world that you guys mentioned? Are they the ones in front? The young man in golden armor understood. So, they were martial artists from the human world. Chi Huanyu saw that he did not seem to mind and chuckled again. "In your eyes, martial artists from the human world are very weak, right?" The young man in golden armor said lightly, "The heavenly court army will not underestimate any powerhouse. In the past, the human world was strong too. When the heavenly court army was still around, there were powerhouses in the human world too, but there were very few of them. Now that thousands of years have passed, buzz!" As soon as he said that, several emperor venerable corpse puppets suddenly appeared around Chi Huanyu. The other golden-armored powerhouses also flew through the air. Spears pierced through the void, directly sealing the void as they charged toward Chi Huanyu. The young man's speed was also extremely fast. Like lightning, the spear left his hand, collapsing the void as it charged toward Chi Huanyu. I guessed it. Chi Huanyu sneered, but did not take the attack head-on. He stabbed his spear toward the sky, wanting to tear the void and leave. At this moment, Chi Huanyu frowned. Unknowingly, a thin layer had appeared in the void. Hundreds of blood-armored warriors around him roared and pointed their spears at the sky, roaring, "Dragon trap!" Waves of energy erupted from the spears, sealing the void. Chi Huanyu's expression changed. The young man harumphed coldly. In the past, a team of the heavenly court army could kill a true god. A team of 100 people could kill a true god. Right now, these veterans were not facing a true god. With the help of the captains, it would not be difficult for them to kill this person. If this person was so arrogant, they would not be able to do anything to him if he wanted to escape. However, the other party was not leaving and was filled with confidence. They had to kill him. Attack! The young man hollered. Including himself, there were a total of 6 golden-armored powerhouses. Their spears formed a battle formation, and a blood-colored spear shot out from the sky, the ground, the front, the back, the left, and the right. The 6 spears released a shocking bloody aura at this moment. Moreover, the 6 spears seemed to be connected as one, and the auras of these people seemed to be fusing. I've underestimated you. Qi Huanyu let out a low roar, waving his spear and sweeping it across one of the spears. The sound of collision was heard, but the impact had torn the web between his thumb and index finger. This time, Qi Huanyu's expression changed. 6 of them as one. One of them might not be his match. However, the auras of the 6 people were fusing, and he actually could not withstand it. He had been too arrogant. This time, Qi Huanyu truly realized that he had been too arrogant. He had been invincible in rank 9 for too long. Even if there were hundreds of rank 9s here, he was not too worried. Even if he could not kill the other party, escaping was not a problem. There were many powerhouses on Fang Ping's side earlier, but he still killed them and escaped. Now, however, he was trapped. The blood-armored warriors gradually closed in around him. The more they closed in, the stronger the thin film was, and the closer it was to him. Humph! A cold snort was heard. Qi Huanyu no longer cared about the thin film. With a low roar, a glaring light erupted from his spear, and he stabbed at one of the golden-armored powerhouses. The spear blocked his way. Qi Huanyu directly grabbed one of the spears with one hand. The flesh on his arm was instantly sliced off by the sharp gleam. His golden bones and the gleam collided, producing a series of metallic sounds. Qi Huanyu did not care at all. His speed was extremely fast. His spear appeared and disappeared like a ghost, sending one of the golden-armored powerhouses flying dozens of meters away with one strike. The other 5 quickly closed in. The Emperor Venerable Corpse Puppet also attacked swiftly. The other 5 spears also arrived at an extremely fast speed, sealing the void again. The golden-armored youth and a corpse puppet joined forces to attack, forcing Qi Huanyu, who had almost broken out of the encirclement, to retreat. Since you're here, don't leave. The youth was indifferent. How could it be that easy to leave? Qi Huanyu's expression was solemn. He did not say a word. His spear protected his body so that not even a drop of water could enter. The spears kept retreating. The powerhouses that were sent flying also returned at this moment. The 6 golden-armored powerhouses no longer controlled them. From afar, one by one, they grabbed their spears, roared, and charged at Qi Huanyu again. The blood-armored warriors around him were getting closer and closer. Qi Huanyu felt as if he was about to be enveloped by a layer of thin film. He had a hunch that once he was enveloped, he might really die here today. These people were extremely terrifying. Sensing the danger, Qi Huanyu suddenly shouted, "Do you guys want to see me being surrounded and killed by them? Once I'm dead, which one of you can fight against them?" There was no sound in the surroundings. The golden-armored youth frowned slightly and sensed the mirror in his arms. There were many red dots around him. However, no one appeared at this moment. Ignoring the red dots, the youth stabbed his spear again. This time he broke through Qi Huanyu's spear defense and pierced his chest. Uft! The spear pierced through his body, directly piercing through his chest. Qi Huanyu roared again, "Short-sighted fool!" At this moment, someone chuckled in the dark. He's very strong indeed. However, Qi Huanyu, you're known as the number 1 person below the true kings. If you're so easily surrounded and killed, then so be it. Fang Ping. Qi Huanyu's expression changed slightly. Suddenly, he swept his spear horizontally, causing cracks to appear on the armor of a golden-armored warrior that had just gotten close to him. He roared, "There's still room for negotiation between us. The subordinates of the 2 kings won't say a word to you." 8,000 meters away, Fang Ping stood in the air, looking at them from afar. In reality, He could not see anything as the scene changed too quickly. However, his mentality could still sense what was happening over there. Fang Ping ignored Qi Huanyu and stared at the golden-armored powerhouses. After a while, he took a deep breath and said, "They're very strong. I'm afraid none of the 6 golden-armored warriors are weaker than me. That leader can even fight the top 5 powerhouses one-on-one. With those emperor corpses, they're even stronger." Jiang Kuei said in a low voice, "Be careful. Those are the most elite heavenly court troops under the 2 kings. They're the elites of the earthly emperor god dynasty, not the sky plant army and heavenly mandate army when the 2 royal courts were established. Ordinary golden-armored warriors are centurions. They form a team of 100 and can fight a true god. Of course, that was in the past. Now, these golden-armored centurions seem to have not recovered from their injuries. 5 ordinary golden-armored warriors can only command 100 people. Looks like there's not enough manpower." He continued, "These are ordinary golden-armored warriors. Look at the leader. He's wearing the earthly emperor helmet. There's a blood-red color at the core of the helmet. He's a powerhouse of a higher level. He's a 1,000-man general." Beside him, Xianhua said softly, "During the earthly emperor god dynasty, there were 1,000,000 heavenly court troops. Not all of them were origin powerhouses. Among them, there are 100,000 elites. Among the 100,000 heavenly court elites, 1,000 generals are true gods, and the 10,000 generals are all emperors. This person must have been seriously injured and hasn't recovered yet, causing his rank to drop. Otherwise, he would be a true god powerhouse." Fang Ping exclaimed, 100,000 elites? All rank 9? That means there are 100 true gods among the 1,000 generals and 10 emperors? Even more. Xianhua explained, "There are powerhouses among the other 900,000 heavenly court troops too. Although they're not as good as the elites, I'm afraid there are no fewer true gods and emperors. There are 200 true gods among the heavenly court troops and 20 emperors?" Fang Ping smiled. "That sounds like a lot, but if I think about it carefully, this might not be enough for the demon emperor god dynasty to suppress the 3 realms. Looks like they have other military forces. The heavenly court troops are the main force for suppressing the 3 realms. The earthly emperor god dynasty has other halls. For example, the 2 kings weren't part of the heavenly court troops back then. They only fled with part of the heavenly court troops later." As he spoke, Qi Huanyu had already unleashed his power. His spear gleamed and was unstoppable. As he unleashed his power, the 6 golden-armored warriors began to retreat. However, they still could not escape the blockade. Jiang Yan frowned. "Not attacking. If Qi Huanyu is killed, it'll be very troublesome to face this group of people next." Fang Ping narrowed his eyes. "If he dies, so be it. This fellow is too arrogant. How dare he attack our people? It's good that he's killed." Xianhua advised, "If he dies, we might have to face these people. It'll be very troublesome. We have a lot of origin powerhouses, but we might not be their match." Although he said it might not be, Xianhua felt that they were definitely not their match. These soldiers of the Divine Court Army were all experienced warriors. Although there were 200 ninth-ranked soldiers among them, if they were to really fight against these people, they could still win even if they were all killed and half of their opponents were injured or killed. Qi Huanyu won't die so easily. Fang Ping did not care about that. He stared at Qi Huanyu, who was unleashing his power. Right now, Qi Huanyu was tearing the space around him again and again. However, there was a thin membrane outside that he could not tear and escape. He was very powerful. It was not that easy to tear the space again and again in the king battlefield. However, not only did Qi Huanyu manage to do it despite being besieged by so many powerhouses, he even sent the golden-armored warriors flying. This fellow's strength was really frighteningly powerful. However, the golden-armored youth was also very powerful. He fought Qi Huanyu head-on and left unhealable wounds on Qi Huanyu's body several times. Judging by the current situation, Qi Huanyu might really be killed. Xianhua and the rest were a little worried. Fang Ping watched for a while and suddenly laughed. Qi Huanyu, I'll help you call for reinforcements. There are 500 god generals in the catacombs. What are you afraid of? It'll be a piece of cake for just 100 people to kill them. Hold on for another minute. I'll call for reinforcements for you. No one responded. Fang Ping rubbed his chin and said playfully, It's better if it's a little chaotic. Now that everyone is separated, it's not chaotic enough. You guys, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip and attract the powerhouses from the other territories. I'm a person who likes to end battles quickly. Previously, all three parties were restraining themselves and couldn't engage in a chaotic battle. Now that Second King's people are here, it's just in time. Are you sure? Jiang Kuei looked at him and said in a low voice, If that's the case, I'm afraid we won't be able to get away from here. It's fine. Fang Ping waved his hand. Then he stared at the golden-armored and blood-armored warriors and said with a smile, The armors are very good. The blood-colored armors are probably made from rank 9 monster materials. As for the golden-armored ones, I think they're made from peak rank 9 demons at least mixed with some other materials. Do you guys think we'll be rich if we kill this team and seize these armors? The few of them frowned. Where did this fellow get his confidence from? He had been brimming with confidence since he entered. However, in reality, their side did not have any advantage. Qi Huanyu had even ambushed and killed a few of them earlier. Go on, you guys. Otherwise, if this goes on, I think Qi Huanyu will really be killed. It's fine if he's killed, but if he's dead, who's going to deal with these golden-armored powerhouses? Then I'll stay here for a while. I'll leave if there's any danger later. Fang Ping maintained a distance of more than 1,000 meters from the other side. He dared not get surrounded. If even Qi Huanyu could not get away, if he was surrounded, he might be trapped as well. After hearing his words, the few of them considered for a moment and left one after another. After waiting for them to leave, Fang Ping laughed and suddenly sped up, disappearing on the spot in the blink of an eye. Not only did he disappear, but his aura also disappeared after a while. In the outside world, on the wind cloud list, Fang Ping's name, which was ranked 33rd, suddenly dimmed. Taoist Fingyun's apparition shuddered slightly. The human world's leading powerhouse was dead? This was too unexpected. Taoist Fengyan wanted to say something, but suddenly fell silent. It was extremely quiet everywhere. Only some people in the void were slightly alarmed. However, the powerhouses of the 4 royal courts, without exception, acted as if they did not see anything. This scene was exceptionally strange. Including Zhang Tao and the others, they looked indifferent too. Fang Ping was dead? Did they believe it? They did not believe it anyway. They would pretend that they did not see it. If anyone thought that Fang Ping was dead, just like that, they would be underestimating Fang Ping. Moreover, the powerhouses of the human world did not suffer any losses, but Fang Ping was dead. No one would believe it, even if they said it out. Even Fate King and the others who were extremely hostile to Fang Ping did not gloat at this moment. On the peak, the sickly Li Zhu chuckled and said, Taoist Fengyan, looks like your imitation divine peeking mirror is not very effective. Fate King also said, coldly, a bunch of people who hide their heads but show their tails. What can they do? Maple King also smiled faintly. Fang Ping is dead? Taoist Fengyan, why don't you collect Fang Ping's corpse too? If you do, I'll think more highly of you. These true king powerhouses spoke one after another. In the void, some venerable emperors were a little surprised. Someone said, Is Fang Ping really the reincarnation of Unquestionable? I'm afraid not. If that's the case, why did the wind cloud list Unquestionable? Taoist Fengyan, you guys know that Unquestionable is still alive, right? If he did not know, or if he had reincarnated, why would unquestionable be listed? Taoist Feng Yin was silent for a moment, then said slowly, Fang Ping probably isn't the reincarnation of unquestionable. Of course, I'm not sure either. However, 10 years ago, unquestionable seemed to have appeared once. If Fang Ping is unquestionable, then he's too good at hiding. How old was Fang Ping 10 years ago? Fang Ping's past was traceable. He did not appear out of thin air. It was possible to say that he was a reincarnation, but the possibility of him being unquestionable in hiding was not high. Everyone quieted down again. Only they knew what they were thinking. However, the probability of Fang Ping being unquestionable was not high. Someone thought for a while and asked, Is Fang Ping the reincarnation of an ancient venerable emperor? I don't know. Taoist Feng Yin smiled. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you guys or the Martial King, Zhang Tao said calmly. Maybe he's the reincarnation of Heavenly Hound. Be careful, everyone. Many of Heavenly Hound's old friends are still alive. As soon as he said that, everyone was silent. Someone said in disbelief, Reincarnation of the Heavenly Emperor. Was Fang Ping the reincarnation of Heavenly Hound? Everyone was in disbelief at first. Then they suddenly became suspicious. Song Mao. It was said that Song Mao was following Fang Ping now. This was one of the reasons. Secondly, Fang Ping's luck was extremely prosperous. In just a few years, he had cultivated to this stage. This was definitely not something an ordinary person could do. He must be the reincarnation of a powerhouse. Thirdly, his personality. Those who were familiar with Fang Ping, or those who had investigated Fang Ping, were a little dazed at this moment. Some of the ancient venerable emperors had also investigated Fang Ping's information. At this moment, someone murmured, rebellious, arrogant, overbearing, vengeful, greedy, large amounts of imperishable substance. Heavenly Emperor had once robbed a large amount of imperishable substance, even stealing some grandmasters and sects Lake of Eternity. The more they went on, the more dazed some people became. It seemed really similar. Zhang Tao did not care about them, continuing to drink his tea. Who knew? He did not know anything in the past, but since he knew that Heavenly Emperor was Heavenly Hound, and he also knew that this kid Fang Ping used to say that he was Heavenly Emperor, not to mention it was really possible. Song Mao did not recognize him. Maybe he did not say it on purpose? That fellow indeed had a dog's temper. He was born in the year of the dog, changing his attitude faster than flipping a book. Zhang Tao listened to everyone's words, chuckling and not explaining. He was just casually saying it. It was up to them whether they believed it or not. Heavenly Hound still had some powerhouse friends, although there were also many enemies. However, most of the enemies were dead, but his friends, at least the few who helped Song Mao last time, were still on good terms with Heavenly Hound. If he could really trick a few venerable emperor powerhouses to help, Zhang Tao did not mind letting Fang Ping pretend to be Heavenly Hound. Human and material evidence were all there. For example, a certain cat had personally said that Fang Ping was Heavenly Hound. Was this evidence enough? At this moment, no one actually believed that Fang Ping was dead. Fang Ping's name had been extinguished, but it did not cause the slightest ripple. Some powerhouses knew that Fang Ping could conceal his aura. At this moment, most people thought so. Perhaps he had concealed his aura, and the fake divine peeking mirror was not powerful enough to detect Fang Ping's existence. This was very normal. In the Imperial battleground, Fang Ping did not know that the people outside had so much trust in him. If they knew, they would probably curse. If he was really dead, then no one would care? He was beaten to death inside, while Zhang Tao and the others were laughing and chatting outside. This scene was too beautiful. Fang Ping did not expect this to happen. At this moment, Fang Ping concealed his aura and left the spot. After a while, Fang Ping sneaked back, once again returning to the area 1,000 meters away from the battlefield. Is Qi Huanyu really dead? 1 against 100, even in normal rank, 9 would be in danger. Not to mention there were so many powerhouses. At this moment, Qi Huanyu's golden body had already begun to crumble. If this went on, he might be killed in 30 seconds, let alone a minute. Fang Ping was a little speechless. This guy was an invincible rank 9. He had been arrogant for so many years, and now he was killed so easily. His death was too simple. Fang Ping had trusted him so much, hadn't he? Fang Ping trusted him very much. He had always thought that this guy could only be killed by him. In the end, Fang Ping would feel very disappointed if he died so easily. After staring at Qi Huanyu for a while, Fang Ping looked at the divine court army again, his expression somewhat solemn. How did these fellows manage to create such a barrier? Even Qi Huanyu was unable to escape. Could he really trap Zhu Pinnacle? A joint attack? Fang Ping had heard of this term before. It was said that it could integrate a person's aura into one, allowing a rank 9 to possess the strength of a paragon. Could this be it? However, this was only a trapping array. The 6 golden armors seemed to have a joint attack technique, but it did not seem to have reached the pinnacle, right? These people are very strong. I have to be careful. Fang Ping was alarmed, but he did not show it on his face. Soon, Fang Ping's gaze turned to the golden armored side. These people were methodically advancing slowly, as if they were not worried that others would rush over to rescue them. It's just 100 people. If they were to be surrounded, no matter how strong they are, they would still die, right? The second king's men were so bold. Were they not afraid of death? Now that he's dead, second prince will be in trouble. It would have been better if those people had been working in the dark, but they've made such a big fuss just to kill Qi Huanyu. Aren't they being exposed now? Fang Ping was a little confused. These guys had the upper hand. Fang Ping had not expected the second prince to have so many people under his command. He had thought that there were only corpse puppets. Corpse puppet? Fang Ping's gaze flickered. Where was the corpse puppet? How much is this place? There were only a few emperor corpses. What about those true god corpse puppets? No, there were still a large number of rank 8s and rank 9s who died in battle back then. Golden bodies would not decay so quickly. He had seen a few in the king battlefield previously. That's right. I don't think I've seen a single one. Fang Ping looked at the sky. Could it be that the ruins that had been explored all these years had all been taken away? However, there were too many rank 8s and rank 8s who died in battle back then. There were already thousands of true gods. There should be at least 10,000 rank 8s and rank 8s, right? Even if there were people who were annihilated directly, could it be that they were all annihilated? There were corpses in the rank 6 and 7 regions, and there were still buildings preserved. This meant that the battle back then did not affect much in the outside world. Most of it was still in the space battlefield. Rank 8 and 9 did not enter the space battlefield to fight. Something's not right. Fang Ping frowned. Did he miss something?